All right, let's do this. We're back. Hopefully, everything should be squared away now. I'll dive into this in a little bit once more people file in here. But if you tried to watch my stream we're gonna turn down my computer a little bit. But if you tried to watch my streams on Sunday, they ended up not happening, and it was unfortunate. Long story short, the internet was not doing so hot, and we had to go to Best Buy to get a new router and modem because it was so slow. And I mean, if you guys watched, it kept crashing. So, unfortunate I was not able to go live on Sunday, but I'm pretty excited to be going live here tonight. It's a Thursday, there's no games on, but we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's just been so long. I'm excited to give a few updates, just like what I've been up to, where I've been, because, it's been a while since we've had a good, honest, proper Dr. Pigskin stream. And I'm telling you what, man, we've got a fun one here planned tonight. We're going to be talking some ball, and then finally, I've been wanting to do this for so long. We're going to be diving into some Sporcle quizzes, and I got, I believe, 5 of them picked out here. I went through earlier today, and I found 5 that really interest me, and I tried my best to, not look at them or anything, right? I haven't taken them before. I was very intentional about finding 5 that I have not done before, because I am an enjoyer of Sporcle quizzes, and I have definitely done a lot on that website, but I found some good ones, so we'll be diving into that too. But you guys know the drill at this point. If you're in the chat, say hello, say what's going on. I'll greet you guys, and then maybe in a few minutes here we can get started. But yeah, quizzes, coaching carousel, maybe some playoff talk. A lot on tap here tonight. Thursday night, 8 o'clock back here in North Dakota, 9 o'clock over in Georgia. So shout out to any East time zone people that might be tuning in. And I think we might have a person or two from Mountain time zone that'll be tuning in. We've got Christine in here. Speaking of the Eastern time zone, how's it going, Christine? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a nice night. I'm having a pretty good night myself. You saw what I had for dinner. Sent you that over earlier. Oh, it was good. I gotta tell you. Made some spicy beef and noodles. Oh, very good. Made that for my family. Christine saying, let's go. Well, I'll tell you what, Christine, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but your Atlanta Falcons have a new head coach. They have a new coach, so we're going to dive into that in a little bit. There's a reason I've been using Falcons stuff I guess I used a Falcons GIF for the tweet announcement for this stream, and then also, maybe, if you know, you know, but I'll reveal the Falcons coach to you in a little bit. Unless you've already seen that. Maybe you already know, so who knows, but says, I'm excited for the stream. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm excited too. Looks like you've got 3 people in here now. I think one of them is me. I've been tinkering with my setup a little bit more, and we've now got the big monitor has the screen that you're going to see, which that's a little bit different. But I'm still going to be using my computer to type, which I believe that should work. Let me just try here real quick. Oh, yeah. Works like a charm. Oh, you do know. See, you know ball. I don't know what I'm saying, to be honest. Of course you know who it is. Raheem Morris, huh? Okay, so I'm curious. What are your thoughts? Initial reaction. You hear that the Falcons are hiring Raheem Morris. I'm curious what your thoughts are, Christine, because I've heard the opinions of a few Falcons fans now, and I'm curious to see where you stand on Raheem Morris. So what are your thoughts on that while I take a swig of water? Can't wait for Henry to get in here. He mentioned on Twitter he might be hopping in here saying that we might be seeing angsty Henry. So you know what? He had a lot of passion in the group chat today, and I really respect that. We need more of that as a fan population. We need that fire, that intensity, that burning passion for your team. Christine said, I'm sorry, but I've never heard of him before, so I have no thoughts. Well, what if I told you he'd been with the Falcons before, believe it or not? When they hired when they fired their previous head coach, they fired him in the middle of the season, and Raheem Morris took over as their interim head coach, and they were all right, but he has been around the block for a while. I'll say that. He has been a part of the NFL now for over a decade. I mean, well over a decade, because he's been floating around as an assistant. He's been a part of the NFL for almost 20 years now here. Very successful coach. Not the most decorated head coach of all time, but granted, he's only had one serious stint with a team. That was all the way back in 2010, but he's had a good run. We'll dive into Raheem Morris maybe here in a little bit. Christine saying, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I will say it's not what I expected. That's for sure. I was a little surprised that he was the name that they called. But you know what? I'm starting to see a bit of a vision. Part of me sees what they might be doing, and maybe I'm reaching a little bit with my theory, but I don't know. They could have something cooking, but I'm gonna tease that for a little bit. I intentionally refrained from saying any of that on Twitter in the group chat today because that's how you get people to watch, right? You can't just say everything. You gotta save a little bit of information to get people to click on your content, because you know what? That's what makes my world go round right there, baby. Those sweet, sweet clicks. But I've been chilling in here for 5 minutes now. Maybe we'll just dive in soon. Maybe this is the audience we've got tonight, but you know what? I can perform for an audience of one if I need to. Ain't no problem with that. Christine asking, do you know if Jake Funk got traded again after he just joined the Ravens? No idea, to be honest. Believe it or not, I'm not super tapped in with the career of Jake Funk. I do know who he is because I remember he was a big fantasy sleeper a few years ago. And also he's like, married to some TikToker or something? Is he on the Lions now? That's crazy. Absolute insane ring chasing right here by Jake Funk. So he's on I guess if he really wanted a ring chase, he'd probably stay with the Ravens. But interesting. He's on the Lions now. He's on the Rams for a little bit. So there you go. I guess he did just change teams again. He's still got his Ravens jersey on in the picture. You can't see that right now. I'll switch my camera or my screen or whatever over here in a little bit. But, well, there you go. Some hard-hitting info right there. Jake Funk is a Lion. I did not know that, to be honest. So, good scoop right there. So you saw his girlfriend's TikTok, and it looked like she was dressing for a different team's colors. Okay, that makes sense. Dang. Well, the power of TikTok, right? I did not know who Isaac Rochelle was before I met you. I did not know who. Well, actually, I knew the other guys. Like I knew Braxton Berrios, but I didn't know he was dating. I don't know, Alex Earl. She's like a TikToker or something. Was it Juwan Jennings? Or the other Jennings. There's two of them, and I always get them mixed up. I think it is Juwan Jennings. Well, it's the Saints Jennings. Right? Because there's Juwan Jennings on the 49ers. Who's the other? Or is that just the same guy? Right? Because I'm thinking of a tight end on the Saints. Unless it's just him. I'm looking right now on NFL.com. A crime to not know who he is. I'm working on it. Okay, no, there's two different Jennings because this one has only been on the 49ers. I'm just going to switch my scene here on OBS now. And look at this, with this new setup, with this monitor, right? Look at this. I could switch without having to show OBS. You don't have to see the 1,000 doctors, even though the doctorception was kind of cool, right? But I've just got another window open, right? I've got my laptop, which has OBS and chat, and then my monitor has what you see right now. Like, I can just look straight forward. It's pretty nice, I'm not going to lie. But he is on the Saints. There is another. Yeah, so this is the one I always think of, right? They're two different people. This one's probably a little bit better. Well, I don't know. The Saints one is pretty good too. But he had a great game against the Packers last week. He might have to step up again if Deebo Samuel is still out. But who? Okay. Juwan Johnson. Okay, that's who I'm thinking of, right? This is the TikTok dude, right? Juwan Johnson. Juwan Jennings and Juwan Johnson. Two JJs. He's had a solid career too. He's a solid player. He's 27. That's a little surprising. He's been around a few years now, I guess. But yeah, he had 500 yards in 2022, 7 touchdowns. Yeah, okay. Man, it's hard to keep track. Maybe one day we can sit down and chart all of the different TikTokers of the NFL or whatever. But all right, now that we've got that mystery solved, had a few hires in the NFL today. And was Brian Callahan hired yesterday or two? I think it was 2 days ago at this point. But the Bengals lose their offensive coordinator. The Titans get a new head coach after letting go of Mike Vrabel. The Chargers get Jim Harbaugh. That was a whole thing. Only 2 vacancies left. Only Washington and Seattle. And some of like the top candidates haven't been hired yet. Ben Johnson hasn't gotten a job yet. Mike McDonald hasn't gotten a job yet. Bobby Slowick hasn't. And then like some of the other like previous coaches, right? All that there is so much hype over this coaching cycle. Bill Belichick hasn't gotten a job yet, as you can see right here. He was maybe Atlanta bound until he wasn't. I'd love to learn more details about what happened with that. I have my theories, but Belichick might not be hired. Vrabel might not be hired. And then, like, there's some openings we thought there might be that aren't. Like, the Eagles are sticking with Sirianni. The Cowboys are sticking with Mike McCarthy, which is maybe a little bit surprising. But we have a good question here from Christine. Is also, we'll talk about this a little bit. This is actually a big deal. This is bad news for the Dolphins, in my opinion. Vic Fangio leaving and becoming the Eagles' defensive coordinator. I've got a Dolphins take to share later because honestly, that's not good news for them. But Christine asks to rate all the new head coach hires from favorite to least favorite. Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to just pull up a list because it'll just be easier. I'm a visual guy. Like, it's just going to be a lot easier if I have them right in front of me. Because there's been a few already. There's been quite a few. So I'll just give my thoughts on them, and then I'll try and, like, rate them in order in a little bit. We've got Caden in here now. Welcome to the stream, Caden, saying how McCarthy has a job is beyond me. Me too, to be honest. And I'm Mr. Cowboys fan, right? Like, I've been singing the praises of Dallas all year. I've been singing the praises of Dak all year. I had them in the Super Bowl in my preseason predictions. Man, I just don't know how you can bow out of the playoffs like that again and he still holds on to his job. Like, I totally understand they've had, 3 straight 12-win seasons. Like, I totally get that. They have had a good run of success under Mike McCarthy. And I guess the argument you can make for keeping McCarthy is Dallas held on to Jason Garrett for so long. And Garrett had some good years, but they did not have nearly the amount of sustained, consistent success as they have under McCarthy. However, man, is it not obvious that this team has just kind of hit their ceiling, maybe, and you can point fingers at Dak or the defense or whatever, but I just don't know how you don't want to, make a change after watching them just get absolutely embarrassed in the playoffs again. They didn't even make it to the 49ers this year. Like, the last 2 years, it's been, the 49ers own the Cowboys. They didn't even make it that far this year. They got blown out in their own building in the wild card. Like, this was their year. The Eagles fell apart, right? They lost some guys on defense. They lost a tiny bit on offense. They lose both their coordinators, right? And Philly falls apart. And it opens up for the Cowboys to steal the division. They steal the division, get the 2 seed, and it just doesn't matter. Like it's just inexcusable. This was their year to do something. This was their year to make a serious playoff run and to finally end the drought, the NFC Championship game drought. They have not been to the NFC Championship game in so long. This was their chance to do it, and they couldn't. And I just don't know. I get that they've had a nice run, but I just don't know how you can be okay with that. And it's not going to get any easier. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I think have they paid CD yet? I don't think so. They're going to have to pay Micah Parsons soon. They'll have another tough decision to make with Dak in a few years because it's not like his contract was super long. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, this was kind of their year. I think he's still on his rookie deal, right? Yeah, look at that. They're probably gonna, well, yeah, because he'll be eligible to get an extension now because he was in the same class as Jefferson. This would be the year to pay him. Like, he's going to make a lot more money soon. So, I don't know. The Cowboys have some decisions to make, and I'm surprised they didn't make a decision on McCarthy. Well, they did. They made the decision to keep him. I'm surprised they didn't make the other decision. Christine saying, OMG, Herbert, your fave. Oh, she knows. She knows my agenda. The social media quarterback. Kind of. Maybe one day I'll sit down and write a Justin Herbert article or something. Go check out the WordPress if you haven't already. I can go link that somewhere, and I've got it linked on my Twitter, and I have a community post about it. But go check out the WordPress if you haven't. I've been getting into the blogging sphere a little bit. Kaden says, I've been here the whole time. Mr. I can perform for an audience of one. You know what? Respect. I will say I did see there were a few other people in here, but I didn't see you in the chat. That is going to sound more disrespectful than it is. But respect, man. Real one has been here the whole time. You got me up on the projector again, I hope? That's what I like to hear. Christine saying, hi, Kaden. And we've got Henry in here. Here's the mountain time man, Henry himself, saying, what's up, doctor? We're talking coaches right now. I went off on a little tangent about how Mike McCarthy staying is maybe a bad idea. We're about to go and run through the hires here. I've got a nice little list pulled up. And you know what? We're going to talk about your man, Raheem Morris. And you know what, Henry? I said I needed some time to digest and to think about it. I sat and thought with it as I ate my dinner. You know what? I just might see a vision with Raheem Morris. And maybe my vision is a bit of a reach, and maybe it's based a little bit on a certain hypothetical, but I can kind of see a vision. I can see a vision. I think they might have something if they make a few moves. I don't know. Maybe. And Christine says he actually hates being interviewed for the Chargers TikTok page. So, see, and here's what I'll say about the whole social media quarterback. Because you're right. No, and this is like, I have nothing against Justin Herbert, the person. And honestly, I would say 99% of me has nothing. Honestly, no, 100% of me has nothing against him, the quarterback. But what Emmanuel Acho said, ironically, kind of got taken out of context. When he said social media quarterback, he meant that, like, he was almost like a highlight hooper where, like, his plays would go crazy on social media. And I don't fully agree with that take, right? It's hard to, like, agree with Emmanuel Acho about anything. But I do think it's funny after he said that the Chargers social media team posted, like, it was like a edit of, like, them, like, looking up Justin Herbert on Instagram and, like, oh, no profiles found, like, he doesn't have social media. And then it cuts to, like, highlights of him, like, throwing deep bombs and, like, yeah, Justin Herbert. And it's like, that was kind of his point. Kind of. But anyways, I don't have time to go on another Justin Herbert dialogue right now. The Chargers live rent-free in my head. Let's talk about coaches, which I guess we'll get to the Chargers, but I'm like the only Chargers hater in the world. Gerard Mayo, New England Patriots. I am so on this hire. I think that Gerard Mayo could potentially bring a lot to the table, right? The Patriots have raved about him for years as an organization. Real ones of Dr. Pigskin might remember that I kind of called this even like a year ago. I noted how it was very interesting how the Patriots very rarely were public about like promotions or anything like that. And then out of nowhere last year, the Patriots were like, hey, look, we promoted Gerard Mayo, by the way. Like, look, we gave him a promotion, by the way. And Robert Kraft was kind of being testy with Bill Belichick and press conferences and stuff. And it's like, I wonder if they got rid of Bill, would Mayo take over? And here we are a year later, Gerard Mayo taking over for the Patriots. And, you know, I love me a good story. I love me a good former player taking over for the team he used to play for, right? He's a younger coach, which usually that's just the way things have skewed. I do love seeing those defensive guys still get love. I think the thing that concerns me the most, though, is that if you're the Patriots, this was the perfect opportunity for you to just kind of get a clean slate, right? You have the third overall pick, I believe. Yeah, third overall pick. You just let go of Bill Belichick. Brady's been gone for a few years now. Now is the time for a perfect clean slate rebrand. All right, let's start over. But in hiring Mayo, it just kind of feels like they're trying to do Bill Belichick too. And who knows, right? I don't know actually who he's hired like as his OC or anything. I honestly am pretty excited to see what a Gerard Mayo defense would look like. I do think defensive continuity would be good for the Patriots because they have a very unique roster that's kind of tailored to Bill. And Mayo's a guy who played under Bill and then served under him as a coach. I think the defense is still going to be great. I like that they have continuity there. But everything else, just from an organizational standpoint, I wonder if essentially trying to run it back but with just a different guy is the right idea. I would give this hire maybe like, I don't know. I'm so. I could see this maybe working out. We'll see. And I would like to see who gets as OC, as Henry says too. I'm curious to see who Mayo gets as his OC because they will get a top QB to work with. They will. They don't get one of the top two guys though. And I know Jaden Daniels is intriguing and he's the Heisman winner. I've started to watch the QBs here to get ready for this draft class, especially since the Vikings might be in the mix. Jaden Daniels, I see upside. I'm a little scared though. I'll need to watch more obviously, but initial impressions are, he's a comfortable tier below May and Caleb. We got Gabe in here as well saying, I love Doctor. Welcome to the stream, Gabe. Good to have you in here. We're going to talk about your old OC here in a second too. Dave Canales to the Panthers. But I like Mayo enough. I am excited to see this Patriots defense. Curious to see who he gets as his OC. Curious to see where they go in the draft. Maybe they don't go quarterback. I mean, they might not, which is possible. They might not though. So we'll rank them in a little bit as we get to Antonio Pierce. Henry also says, love the Harbaugh hire for the Chargers, though. Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best hires of the cycle. He's another guy I'm curious to see what they do at OC because they have an incumbent OC who they might keep in Kellen Moore. There's been some Greg Roman rumors, which I find really interesting given the personnel of the Chargers right now. I also think that team's got a lot of work to do, though. I think that maybe expectations... Well, we'll get to that when we get to Harbaugh. How about that? We'll get there. The chat is popping now, though. Good to have you guys in here. It's been a while since I've done this, and good to have some familiar faces and old friends back in here. Henry also asks, do you think they could trade up with the Bears? I think it would need to be a pretty juicy offer, even for moving up 2 spots. I don't know what exactly that would look like. I wonder if the Bears just stick and pick Caleb. And I actually remember when we were watching Vikings-Bears Monday Night Football, you asked me what the Bears should do, and I said maybe they'll keep Justin Fields. I don't know. I could almost understand the rationale if they did. I gave my whole Eagles light take where, like, that's what they would at least try and do. Not saying that they'd be able to pull it off, but, like, they've got a good offensive line. They could just go BPA at 1, get, like, Marvin Harrison Jr., pair him with DJ Moore. All of a sudden, you've got a good line, good receivers, and a really up-and-coming defense. I actually like the Bears. I feel like they're trending up. I defended them keeping Matt Eberflus, which I stand with Matt Eberflus. Their defense has been a lot better this year. And I think continuity, when your defense is young and improving, is a good thing, actually. And you know what? They got rid of Luke Getsy, their OC, who was the problem. And they brought in Shane Waldron. So, I don't know. I don't know that the Bears do trade that pick. I mean, if they really wanted Marvin, they could probably trade down to 3 and get him and get a good haul. But I think they go quarterback. I don't know. Henry's saying reports that the Eagles are targeting Kellen Moore. Interesting. I suppose if Harbaugh doesn't want Kellen Moore could probably find a job somewhere else. This season wasn't the greatest for his stock, but he's still probably a hot enough name. He'll land somewhere. Interesting. Kellen Moore with the Eagles. They do like to throw the ball down the field. They'd have to mix up that running game a little bit, though. It was not working at the end. We got Pear Champ in here saying, hey, how's it going, doctor? It's going good. You know, I apologize about my stream not working on Sunday. It was such a bummer. I saw you in the chat for like the 2 minutes that it was working, but it's working again. Good to have you in here. Welcome back to the channel, Pear Champ. Hope you're doing well. I'm sorry about your Packers, man, but you know what? Heck of a year for you guys. I get the feeling you guys are going to be back. That Jordan Love is something else. They did it again. We're talking head coaches right now. We're about to dive into Antonio Pierce, interim head coach, right? The Raiders just elected to bring him back. And I think we all know now that Max Crosby is running the team. The guys that missed it, Max Crosby essentially said, if you don't bring back Antonio Pierce, I'm going to demand a trade. And the Raiders were like, all right, Antonio Pierce, come on back. I can't say I blame them because Max Crosby has the potential to be a franchise icon. Just an unbelievable player, an absolute cornerstone that you build your defense around, right? Even if you're trying to rebuild, you want to keep at least a few players to build around, and he's definitely one of them. They did just pay him not that long ago, too. So, that obviously should not be the only reason you bring him back, but it does speak volumes about how much the locker room absolutely loved him. I think he's another guy, right? Another defensive guy. This is something we're going to talk about a lot. Who are they going to bring in as their OC? Because fair or not, that's what it's all about right now, is you got to have a good offensive scheme and stuff like that. And these poor defensive guys, they are going to be up against the 8 ball, because even if they're a killer defensive coach, right? Even if they do a good job building culture, if the offense ain't working and they botch their OC hire, their seat gets hot. It's unfortunate, but it's true. I think Antonio Pierce has probably bought himself at least a year, because he's stepping in for Josh McDaniels, who is an absolute dumpster fire. And the team responded pretty well to Antonio Pierce. The Raiders were quietly pretty good second half of the season. They were in a lot of their games. They won a lot of their games. And maybe it's just the interim bump, right? But this is not exactly a team loaded with talent. They went 8-9. They had Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. They had a few good players on defense, but it's not like a bunch of superstars. I mean, Josh Jacobs was a complete disappointment, going for under 1,000 yards, only 3.5 a pop. Like, honestly, this is not an 8-win team, but they got to 8 wins. The defense played a lot better. And so I can understand. I mean, shoot, they were 9th in points against. That's actually crazy. They had a winning record with Antonio Pierce. Maybe they have something defensively. Again, if Antonio Pierce can figure out his OC, maybe figure out QB a little bit, because I don't know if Aiden O'Connell is really going to be the answer. I mean, he might be a bridge guy this year, but I think if you're going to be serious with yourself, you probably don't want Aiden O'Connell starting outside of next season, if even. But I understand the rationale of, like, you know what? We went 5-4 with this guy. The team loves him. The defense played extremely well. Let's just keep rolling with him. I don't hate it. And you know what? They don't make too many coaches like Antonio Pierce anymore, right? Old school. Another former player, but just like the CEO type coach, right? Like the macho football guy. I like it. We need more coaches like Antonio Pierce and Gerard Mayo. Even though it's not like the cool thing to do today, and sometimes it doesn't work. Well, sometimes it does, because DeMeco Ryans also fit that profile, and he was fantastic. So I say give it a shot. Why not? Interesting. Nice little chart right here. I like the writing. That was not me. Pear Champ saying Packers had a good run, and no Joe Barry as defensive coordinator. So true. So hopefully we can get a good one and someone that can kick field goals, extra points. Yeah. Oh, Anders Carlson. The Nepo brother. The nepotism kicker. Oh, man. I don't know if you guys have seen his college stats, but it's rough. And he had a rough season, and he had a really rough game against the 49ers. Believe me. Not to make it all about me as a Vikings fan, but I know your pain of kickers blowing it in the playoffs. So tough. But you know what? Yeah, few quick fixes like that, new DC, new kicker, Packers have something. They do. They got something. Whew. All right, Brian Callahan. This one I did not see coming whatsoever. He was not on my radar at all. Former Bengals offensive coordinator. I believe he wasn't the play caller. Or was he? I think Zach Taylor called plays, right? Because Zach Taylor was one of those McVay guys. But Brian Callahan was underneath him. Going to the Titans. And I don't know. He's got some big shoes to fill with Mike Vrabel. The one upside I do see with this, at least one of them, right? He did earn his stripes, pun intended, a little bit as the Bengals OC this year because the offense actually looked solid still after Joe Burrow went out. They at least improved upon some of the criticisms with their scheme from previous years, how it was too vanilla, not enough motion, too much shotgun, not enough under center. Just not like a very creative scheme. They pretty much played like an offensive scheme that's like, we're better than you. And since they had Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, for the most part, it worked. But even then, playing we're better than you ball can only get you so far. But this year, especially when Browning came in, you saw a little bit of the, we are going to make things easier for the quarterback. We're going to add a few more wrinkles. We're going to get under center more and set up that play action game. They used motion a little bit more. And, their offense didn't really drop off that much. So maybe there's something, right? I think Brian Callahan is a guy that I'm going to use to say, like, it's just so hard to tell which coach is going to be good or not because it's so easy to, like, pan coaches when they're hired because you don't know who they are as well, or maybe their role with their previous team hasn't been quite as apparent. I'm not going to call any of these bad hires, right? Because you just, like, you can't tell for sure how they're going to do. But Tennessee, this is like a complete 180 from Vrabel, so I guess they are a team that's like, we had Vrabel for a little bit. It didn't work. We are going to try and completely pivot and rebrand. He seemed pretty excited to work with Will Levis, too. That was like the first thing he said. It was like, well, I'm excited we have a quarterback. And shout out the Around the NFL podcast for this. It's very true. Maybe he brings his dad over to coach the offensive line. For those that don't know, Brian Callahan is the son of Bill Callahan, absolutely legendary offensive line coach. One of the best offensive line coaches ever. Currently the offensive line coach for the Browns. Maybe his son can be like, hey, Pops, why don't you come over here and coach with me? I'm the head coach now. Come coach offensive line for Tennessee. Lord knows they need it. I mean, Tennessee's offensive line kind of flown under the radar for how brutal they've been. So they could use him. Well, okay. That's not going to happen, I guess. According to Connor Orr, it doesn't sound like Browns offensive line coach Bill Callahan will be joining Brian Callahan's staff in Tennessee. Cleveland has been fiercely protective of Bill in recent years. Makes sense. Also one of the highest paid assistant coaches in the NFL. Dang, okay, well that honestly would have been a big move for Tennessee if they could have gotten Bill Callahan. But you know what? Maybe Brian Callahan, through his dad, he's got a nice network and maybe he knows someone he could bring over, but he's not going to be able to get Pops. Dang, okay. That would have been good for the Titans, but it's all right. I don't know. Gabe says, I don't know how much better this guy is than Mike Vrabel. That I think is the toughest thing, is that they're moving on from Mike Vrabel for this. And especially since he is an offensive guy, like Tennessee's offense is going to have to be pretty sick in a few years for this to pay off. Otherwise, I don't know. Vrabel had him always playing hard. Vrabel would squeeze as much out of this Titans team as he possibly could. I put way more blame on the general managers of the Titans than I do Mike Vrabel, right? I mean, they got rid of John Robinson. They bring in Rand Carthron. And they've had terrible draft picks. They traded away A.J. Brown. And this has like all been against Vrabel's will. So I don't know. I don't think it was fair for Mike Vrabel to lose his job over where the Titans have gone. I feel like it falls way more on management than him, but they're trying to re-identify themselves, I guess. Here we go. Jim Harbaugh. All right. Let's talk about Jim Harbaugh after checking chat. Henry says, honestly, could see the Bengals taking a big step back offensively. I really think Zach Taylor is a fraud. I remember that Zach Taylor fraud take. You know, I kind of get it because those criticisms around Zach Taylor have been fair. Or like they don't have like, even though he's an offensive guy, like they don't have this very creative offensive scheme, and it's really just been like they've just got like a stacked team, and then Lou Anarumo has been holding the defense down. He's one of the best coordinators in the NFL. It's like, what does Zach Taylor really do? I mean, the guys seem to like him, I guess, and they're winning. It's not like the Bengals could just move on from him. But, you know, if the Bengals do take a step back offensively, maybe that'll add even more fuel to the Zach Taylor fraud allegations, right? If they lose their OC and it does take a step back, maybe it was Callahan all along that was cooking. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I do think quietly the fact that Lou Anarumo wasn't even on a lot of teams' radars is big news for the Bengals. It is honestly miraculous how they've been able to hold on to him for so long, because he is one of the best in the business. He is a fantastic defensive coordinator. Them keeping him for at least one more year is a big deal. And you know what? We'll get to that in a little bit, but I'm pretty fired up about another team keeping their coordinator. I think you know who it is. I don't think you know what team it is. I think we're out of the woods unless Seattle mysteriously hires him. There's no way, though. He hasn't been getting interviews. I think we're going to keep him. That's what I'll say. Got Gabe going crazy here for his man Jim Harbaugh. Go Blue, am I right? That's a national champ right there saying, Jim, he's a cheater. Jim, I like how you said business. Yeah, I said business there. I let it slip a little bit. But you know what? It happens sometimes. And you know what? Maybe I'm standing on business. Let's talk about Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. All right. The Chargers are free at last from the awful, terrible, no good, awful, stupid, stinky, terrible, numbskull Brandon Staley. Am I right? I hate Brandon Staley. I actually don't. Well, I'll talk about Brandon Staley in a little bit. I think he might make a fine defensive coordinator. Maybe he just wasn't cut out to be a head coach. I do think he was the most hated man in football for like 2 months. All right, so the Chargers get their old quarterback. That's right, Jim Harbaugh played quarterback for the Chargers. You might not have known that. They got their guy. This is the guy they had their sights set on the whole time, and you got to give credit to the Chargers. They locked in on their target, and they got him. And you know what? Jim Harbaugh has won everywhere he's gone. This is a team builder, a program builder, whatever you want to call it. He's a national champion. He's been to the Super Bowl. He was great with Stanford. I mean, the resume is just fantastic. This is actually his player page for Pro Football Reference. But look at that. Yeah, 2 years with the Chargers at the very end. Former NFL quarterback. But where is his coaching history? I just want to pull this up for a sec and go through the journey of Jim Harbaugh. Nearly the Vikings coach, might I add. True story. A few years ago, we interviewed him, and he showed up to the interview, and he just acted like he didn't even need to interview and that he already got the job, and then ownership didn't like that, and then like 20 minutes in, they're like, okay, no more. But, oh, did he coach? Oh, no, San Diego, not San Diego Chargers. Okay, so yeah, he was with Stanford for a little bit. Then he went to the 49ers, had an incredible run there. And then he went to Michigan and brought Michigan back and, like, won a national champion with him, you know. Great hire, in my opinion, right? Just a proven winner, an adult in the room. This is what the Chargers need. They needed that splash hire, right? They've got Justin Herbert. They've got a few talented players. It's not like this team is terrible, awful. It's not great, and they've got a ways to go. But I feel like him paired with a good GM can get them out of the woods. I really do. Give Jim Harbaugh a few years and the Chargers might be onto something. Justin Herbert finally has a coach. And, you know, I am curious to see who he hires for his assistants. I saw he was going to be bringing Chris Herbert, I believe his name is, the strength and conditioning coach from Michigan. And I believe, Gabe, you said this, that he was also bringing over Michigan's defensive coordinator. And if he does, that is a big deal. Because if you know this channel, you know me, you know my love affair with Mike Macdonald. Jim Harbaugh made Mike Macdonald. Well, the Harbaugh family did, but Mike Macdonald was Jim Harbaugh's DC over in Michigan. And they started running that kind of scheme that Mike Macdonald's running now. Michigan runs that scheme now. Chargers might be starting to run a very similar defense to that. And if they can get some good players that kind of fit different roles, right? I don't know. Like, I could see the defense getting better pretty quickly. And if they get in a, I don't know if they keep Kellen Moore. There's rumors maybe he goes to the Eagles, but there are rumors that they bring in Greg Roman. That one, I scratch my head at a little bit because just looking at this Chargers roster, I think Greg Roman is like the last person I would pick to be their OC right now. Greg Roman is a very run-heavy guy, right? A lot of power runs. He was the OC for the 49ers when they had Kaepernick, worked with Harbaugh before, worked with John Harbaugh in Baltimore when they had Lamar Jackson. Great run game designer, but criticisms of like a prehistoric passing game. Wide receivers reportedly don't like to play with him. There was a whole narrative that he was holding Lamar back as a passer, which now after seeing this year with a different OC, it's like maybe that was true. I don't know that they're actually going to hire Greg Roman. It just like that would be a puzzling hire, but also I'm not Jim and maybe Jim knows best. I do think that maybe the Chargers are going to load up in the trenches now in the draft, which I don't hate. They might take like Joe Alt at tackle at 5 in the draft, for example, which is probably the responsible move. Now, this is a team that does have a ways to go. I think there are going to be very high expectations on them because people are going to see Jim Harbaugh with Justin Herbert and immediately think like, oh, like this is going to get to 11 wins. And you know what? Maybe it does. But honestly, this is a very top-heavy roster, a sneaky old roster, and they have the second worst cap situation in the NFL behind the Saints. I think especially with Harbaugh, you will be patient. You're going to have to be patient. You might need to give it a few years, but he's the kind of coach that is equipped to handle this situation. I do think this is a good hire. This honestly might be the best hire of the cycle. I can say that. Absolutely. Here we go. Dave Canales. Winner everywhere he goes. I mean, it's true, is it not? I mean, you should know that as a Michigan fan, right? He has won everywhere he's gone. Like, it is a fact. And you know what? He's got the chance to do it again. Gabe says, I love how the Chargers social media handled his signing. The Chargers social media team is pretty good. Some of the best in the business. And it's pretty funny how he met his wife at PF Chang's too after that viral Wow. I almost say like PFF. PF Chang's tweet from the Chargers social media team back in like 2007. That was huge that he did because if the Vikings hired him, no more Natty? Yeah, probably not. I wonder what the Vikings would look like right now with Jim Harbaugh. I honestly have no idea. They'd probably look a lot different, to be honest. Mike Macdonald is so good. The amount of studs he created was insane. Turned Hutchinson from a 3-star to Pro Bowler, second overall pick. Yeah, how about like David Ojabo too? Like that defense was nasty, and now he's doing it in the NFL. So I don't know. I don't think it's a bad idea to essentially hire someone that's like him and runs a similar defense and bring that to the NFL with you. I think they might be cooking a little bit with this hire. I don't think that's a very hot take that Jim Harbaugh good. All right, let's talk Dave Canales to the Panthers. We've got this one, and then we've got this one. And then from there, we'll dive into some other stuff. But some coach talk, right? There's a lot to catch up on with all the different hires. Dave Canales, this one happened this morning. Kind of a shocker. I didn't really see this one coming, to be honest. I know Dave Canales was on some teams' radars. He got interviewed by a few teams. But I didn't think he was going to get a job this year. He's been with Tampa for 1 year. He did a great job there, mind you, and he did a great job the year before in Seattle as Geno Smith's QB coach. Been in Seattle for a long time, actually. Was also Russell Wilson's QB coach. So he has a very impressive resume. But I'm shocked that the Panthers are getting him, you know? And immediately my first reaction was, and I said this in the group chat, I said, oh, poor guy has to work with David Tepper. I say this as a pseudo Panthers fan. The Panthers are probably one of my 3 favorite teams. Like, I just like the Panthers, right? But I struggle to trust this organization with anything right now. This has nothing to do with Dave Canales, by the way. I think he's a pretty good coach, and I like the work that he's done. I think he did incredible work with the Buccaneers this year, and we'll go into that in a little bit. But on the surface level, what scares me is David Tepper might be like, ooh, get the young guy that's only been an OC for 1 year so he can be my yes man, right? And I found it very interesting that, was it yesterday, the Panthers announced their new GM, Dan Moore, who is just the co-GM of Scott Fitterer, the guy that they got rid of. And I thought, inside hire. That's interesting because their GM before him was not good. They were getting fleeced in trades. They were whiffing on draft picks. They were mismanaging contracts. Like, it was just a terrible run at GM. And it's like, now they're going to get his assistant. And maybe he's got some good ideas. But when I saw that, I immediately thought of a few things. One, they're going inside hire because it's someone that Tepper knows he can control. And 2, they're going inside hire because no one else wanted to take the job. I do not like Dave Tepper, if you can't tell. I just think he's a terrible owner, and he is driving the Panthers into the ground. If you see me leading a march saying, save the Panthers, I'm not talking about protecting the species. I'm talking about getting Dave Tepper out of Carolina. Oh, man. Henry says Tepper gave him a 6-year deal. Are you serious? I mean, he's got money, right? And I know that, like, he was going to throw the bag at him. 6 years? Oh, man. Yeah, 38 minutes ago, Schefter. That's a lot, man. I don't know. What are the odds that he actually survives the full 6 years? I'm going to put that pretty low, to be honest. And this is not even me talking about Dave Canales, because the Panthers, man, you want to talk about a tough job to take. I mean, they have got a big hole to dig themselves out of. They don't have their pick, and they were terrible this year. Now, here's what I do like about Dave Canales, right? Here's what I really liked from the Bucs this year. He fixed what drove me insane about Tampa last season. And that was that they just did not run the ball whatsoever. Their offense was so unbelievably one-dimensional. And it was just the same stuff over and over and over again. They didn't run the ball, and all they did was just get in shotgun and pass it. Like, Tom Brady seriously threw it like almost 800 times. It was just absolutely insane. Canales comes in, and they start running the ball a little bit more. They ran the ball almost like 10% more this year. And even though it wasn't great, it was just something good to have. And they called runs at the right times. I feel like they did a good job just like picking up tough yards. And yeah, maybe Rachaad White averaged like 3 yards a carry or whatever this year. But, you know, they did get some good games out of him too. It's not like Rachaad White is a terrible player, but they got under center a lot more. They set up a lot more play action looks off of that too. It was really good for Baker. And I don't think that's a terrible idea, getting Bryce Young under center a little bit more in Carolina. Carolina is another team this year. They ran shotgun a lot. About half their plays, I looked this up before I went live today, half their plays were from shotgun. Pretty high, 10th highest in the NFL. If you can get Bryce Young under center, you can set up better play action looks. And if you watch my previous video, right, get him out on the move. Bryce Young is a guy that can move. Get him out on the move some. Move that pocket. Roll him out. You can do that a little bit more if you get under center more. And so I think Dave Canales is going to bring a much more diverse offense, much more balanced offense. I think this is a good hire for Bryce Young. I do expect Bryce Young to play a lot better next season. And you know what? Go get him a wide receiver. Go get T. Higgins. Go get T. Higgins, and you know what? Maybe you start to see something on offense. I'm still not completely giving up on their offensive line. It was terrible last year, but there's talented players that I've seen play well. I still worry just because the Panthers organization is just not one that I can take seriously right now. But I see the vision with Dave Canales. Great offensive mind. Let's get Bryce Young some help. That's what this hire is. It's getting Bryce Young some much needed help. Frank Reich was not it last year. I don't know what happened. He just wasn't it. Gabe says check down game was kind of sexy. Yeah, no, I mean, they would get a lot of easy looks, right? And that's what you need. They're not always fun, but yeah, get your quarterback easy looks. I mean, that's on you, man. Like, you're the offensive guy. Make it easy for your quarterback. The Panthers did not do that last year. They did not make anything easy for Bryce Young. Of course he didn't look that great. No one could have done that. No one could have done anything there. Gabe saying he's such a nice guy. Yeah, I've heard some good stories about him. He does seem like a nice guy. Shout out Dave Canales. Henry says, I bet the Panthers target T. Higgins to give Bryce literally anyone to throw to. If they're smart, they will. If they're smart, they will throw a mountain of money at him. I mean, seriously. Like, get him someone, right? Maybe Michael Pittman. There's a decent free agent class for wide receivers coming up. So, go get him some help, please. Gabe says Henry is cooking. He is. You know what, Henry? We're about to cook up some Raheem Morris talk. Here we go. We saved the best for last. Let's do this. Raheem Morris. You want to talk about a hire that was out of nowhere? I literally said wow out loud when I found out about this. I was shocked to see this. But after making him their interim head coach a few years ago during the COVID year, and then a brief stint in LA, Raheem Morris, who has been around the block now, back to the Falcons. They go with the defensive guy. And what do I think? Well, he's not Bill Belichick, as they're saying, right? Everyone thought Bill Belichick was going to the Falcons. I am starting to like this hire a lot more, actually. The more that I've stewed with it, the more that I've thought about it, I actually kind of maybe see a little bit of a vision here. So let's start with the obvious. No, Raheem Morris is not an offensive guy, right? Totally get that. I totally get the desire for an offensive guy with the weapons you have. Heck, I even said in the group chat today, like, okay, it makes sense to go offensive guy because you've spent 3 straight number 8 overall picks on skill players. You're going to have to make financial decisions on them soon. Get someone that will maximize them, right? And then they go with Raheem Morris, who is a retread head coach from like 10 years ago, and then their interim coach. And it's not like he's had this fantastic time in Tampa when he was their head coach, although he did almost take them to the playoffs. But he has had a very good track record as a defensive guy, I will say. And I said this earlier today, but I think he deserves a lot of credit for the job he did in LA this year. I mean, if you go look at the defensive depth chart on the Rams, I mean, oh my goodness gracious. I was making jokes about them preseason, right? Like, who are these guys? And you know what? They were like about average on defense, which is actually pretty impressive. And you look at his track record, right? I mean, he's been on a lot of great defenses. Granted, he wasn't like the head guy here, but like 2002 Bucks Super Bowl on the back of their defense, stuck around for a while, right? And then eventually took over as head coach. Had a nice little year in 2010. Almost took him to the playoffs. They went 10-6. And then he's with the Falcons. It's also interesting. He's a wide receiver coach for a little bit. I mean, he is a defensive guy, but he is like a modern defensive guy. So some background coaching offense, and then defensive coordinator with the Rams the past few years, which, by the way, they also won the Super Bowl with him as their defensive coordinator in 2021. So he's got a very good track record as a defensive coordinator. But what makes this hire interesting to me is he is not your average defensive guy. He's very forward thinking. And I mentioned, he's got a lot of connections with the Shanahan tree. He's worked with McVay. He's worked with Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta. He's got the very vast network. He recognizes like the value of a good modern offensive scheme. And you know what? He went out and brought Zach Robinson with him as offensive coordinator, which is a move I really like, actually, right? You get this young up-and-coming OC who comes from a very successful head coaching tree where pretty much all the disciples have panned out. I mean, it's like the complete opposite of the Bill Belichick tree. Pretty much every Shanahan guy has worked out in one way or another, which is just wild to think about. But it's true. And he's going to be inheriting an offense with a lot of weapons, right? And here's a thought. Okay, and this is where we start to maybe get into a little bit of a hypothetical, but here's what I was thinking about today. And maybe this is what they're trying to do, maybe not, maybe this is just a reach, but here's how I could really see this working, and honestly working fairly quickly. So Raheem Morris is the defensive guy, right? He's going to be taking over a Falcons defense that overachieved last year. And they've got some talented players, AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates. I really like Caden Ellis a lot. Like, they've got some players over there. Offensively, the big question is quarterback. You've got the skill players. You've got a pretty good offensive line. You've got a promising coordinator. What are you going to do at quarterback? Might I interest you in a quarterback that is very, very good in playing in this Shanahan-McVay style offense? One that's had plenty of experience playing in this type of offense. One whose wife is from Atlanta. One who already owns a house out in Atlanta and is a free agent and might just be a pretty good fit for the Atlanta Falcons. Might I interest you in Kirk Cousins joining the Falcons in this Zach Robinson offense with Bijan, Algier, London, Pitts, and Jonnu, and a good offensive line? If they could pull that off, if they could get Kirk, this might be a playoff team. Honest to goodness. I've had varying opinions on Kirk Cousins throughout the years, right? I've got to see him firsthand now for 6 years as a Vikings fan. Here's what I'll say. If he's not coming back with Minnesota, he probably is going to Atlanta, because his wife being from the area and having family out there is a big, big deal for him, right? And he likes that area. I mean, he lives out there occasionally. If he could play into the offensive scheme that he likes and he's comfortable in, where he can be under center, he's got those great running backs he can turn to, and really importantly, if he has that great offensive line, those weapons, I could see that working. Now, I'm not saying the Falcons hired Raheem Morris to get Kirk Cousins. Obviously not. But let's say they pull that off. I honestly think Kirk Cousins makes more sense for the Falcons than Justin Fields does now, given who they brought in as OC. And the fact that Raheem Morris, even if, here's what I'll say to your statement, Henry, you're right. Problem is, this starts the cycle of either getting OCs hired away if they're good, or missing on OCs and having a bad offense. I get that. And that actually might be what my next video is about, is just like this insane paradox of OCs where like either they're good and they get hired away, or they're bad and they get fired. And that's about it. However, Raheem, like, maybe this is like me grasping at straws at this point. Raheem Morris, seriously, I mean, he's been around for so long, like 20 years now. He's got a very, very deep network. And even if he does lose Zach Robinson, he is a guy that I would actually trust to be able to replace him again. I don't know. Maybe that's crazy. I get that this is a lot of ifs, but I could see this working out. I'm trying to see on the bright side here, okay? I'm trying to get these Falcons fans something to be excited about, because I get it. Like, I totally understand your frustrations. I completely do. And maybe it doesn't work out and they go 7-10 again. But there's potential here. There's maybe potential. Teams are hiring younger and younger coaches, and there's no such thing as a successful OC lasting more than a couple of years. So true, unless they're just your head coach. And the organizational structure is my major worry. Rich McKay has far too much sway in the organization and has had the decision-making power through 4 to 5 head coach GM regimes, and has had 3 successful in 17 years. I've been hearing a lot about Rich McKay these days, and there were rumors that maybe that's why Belichick didn't take the job, is because he didn't want to answer to Rich McKay. I need to learn a little bit more about him. I've just heard his name a lot, but he's like, what, the president of the Falcons, right? People don't like him, I guess. I take it you don't like him. But yeah, it is a strange hire. I could see it working, but I also understand the frustrations, and I could totally see them going 7-10 again. Parachamp saying, you think the Packers could convince Mike Vrabel to be their DC? I mean, they should try for sure. I mean, it's not a bad idea. My theory of Mike Vrabel is that if he does not get hired by the Seahawks, which I don't think he will, or the Commanders, I don't think he's going to get hired this year by an NFL team. He'll probably take a sabbatical, right? He'll take a year off. And then next year, either an NFL team will hire him or let's say Ohio State disappoints again. Let's say Ryan Day's seat gets a little bit hotter. Maybe he'll take the Ohio State job. I don't know. I could see that. He went to Ohio State, right? He coached there for a little bit. I think he would be a good college coach too. I don't know. I think college kids would love to play for Mike Vrabel. I could see him being a great coach for Ohio State. I am honestly, I don't know. That would be kind of cool. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I could totally see a world where that happens. As the Around the NFL guy said, we just galaxy brained our way out of the greatest coach of all time, and that is the most Falcons thing ever. Yeah, I don't know, though. Like, Bill Belichick hasn't been that great in, like, the last 3 or 4 years. Like, he's a one-trick pony at this point. He's a very great defensive mind, still. I still maintain that. He's an excellent defensive mind. I don't know about everything else, though. And if he's going to try and bring his buddies along, like, what if he's like, I want Josh McDaniels, or I want Matt Patricia? You're dodging a bullet, in my opinion. I do get it, though. At the end of the day, like, it's Bill Belichick. He's available, and you didn't get him. I get it. All right. That was the head coaching cycle. That was fun. We got to talk a little coaching here. 2 more openings. We've got the Commanders and the Seahawks. I am very curious to see where they go. My gut feeling, and just based off what I've heard, I would say that the Commanders get Ben Johnson and the Seahawks get Mike McDonald. I would also just genuinely be shocked if those 2 guys didn't get jobs, because they were the 2 best, like, new coordinators on the market. I mean, truly, I would be just shocked if Mike McDonald didn't get a job. Or Ben Johnson. Like, for the second year in a row, if Ben Johnson didn't get a job, very surprising. But it'd be good news for both those teams if they didn't get it. But that's my prediction. Washington goes offense, Seattle goes defense. Both of them get younger guys as the NFL coaches continue to get younger. All right, you know what? Let's do this. Main event, I'm going to drink some water, and then we're going to dive into some Sporcle quizzes. We have not done these in so long. I've only done quizzes on my channel once, and that was during the draft all the way back last year. It's my first ever live stream, actually, believe it or not. And you know what? I've got a few picked out here that we're going to do. Got them all lined up here. Tabs are open. As I said at the top of the show, full disclaimer, I have not done these quizzes yet. I have not even really looked at them yet. I just found ones that were interesting, saved them, and we're going to dive right in. Feel free to help in chat, right? If you guys have any suggestions or ideas, you just want to play along. But first one we're going to start with, we've been talking about coaches. We're going to do the last 5 coaches for every team. And you see here, the Ravens have only 3 because they've only been around since '96. But we're going to try and name the last 5 coaches by every team and see how we do. I'm a little curious to see how this one goes. Out of 158, we're going to shoot for a pretty high number here, right? I'm Mr. Obscure Knowledge, Sports Jeopardy champ. It's time to show up on the biggest stage. Will the lights be too bright? Let's find out. All right. Cardinals, we got my man, Jonathan Gannon. And also, we're only going to use Google to, like, check for spelling, right? Like, if I know the guy, I'm just going to check spelling. Shout out Jonathan Gannon. I love Jonathan Gannon. My gut is on fire. All right. Cliff Kingsbury. What a disaster that was. 2018. That was Steve Wilkes. Only got 1 year. Now he's the defensive coordinator with the 49ers. He was the Panthers interim head coach last year. Steve Wilkes only got a year. Then they got Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler. 2013 to 2018, Bruce Arians had a really nice run there. Nearly made the Super Bowl with him. And then Ken Wisenhunt. Remember him? Back in the day, he was the coach with Kurt Warner, Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Boldin. Heartbreaking Super Bowl loss to the Steelers. As Henry says, let's go. Glad to see someone fired up for the quizzes. All right, Falcons. We got good old Arthur Smith, who was just replaced today. Gone but not forgotten. Dr. Pigskin channel legend Arthur Smith. Some of the rants were legendary, weren't they? We had some good times, as we'll get Dan Quinn, then Mike Smith, Bobby Petrino, right? 1 year, only like 14 games. And then, I don't know who this is. Was this Dan Reeves? This is just a guess. No. He was with the Falcons for a little bit, wasn't he? I don't know who this is. 04 to 06. Henry, or any other Falcons fans maybe in here. Anyone know who this is? Because I genuinely have no idea. Only there for a few years. Must have been the coach with Vic. I don't know. All right, we'll go to the Ravens. John Harbaugh. They only have 3 in franchise history. Wow, I can't type. Brian Billick, right? Former Vikings offensive coordinator when they had Randy Moss in 98. Look at that. A tale old as time. A good offensive coordinator getting hired away. And then the first Ravens head coach ever. I don't know that, to be honest. I don't know that. All right, we're already missing 2. Tough start, but we're gonna keep it rocking and rolling. Sean McDermott. We're gonna work together as a team, an organized team, to accomplish the task of beating this quiz. If you know, you know. 15-16. Oh, this is kind of a deep cut because the Sean McDermott era has been so good. This is Rex Ryan. Remember when Rex Ryan was the Bills coach? Then we've got Mike Pettin. No, it's not Mike Pettin. No, he was the Browns coach, but he was with the Bills for a little bit. Who was this? 13-14. Doug Marrone, right? Yeah, we also get him for the Jaguars. This is going to be Chan Gailey, 2010 to 2012. Literally remember nothing about him, but I just know his name. And then 06 to 09. Bills coach, 06 to 09. These last ones are going to be tough, I feel like. I don't know this off the top of my head. 06 to 09. We'll come back. All right. Cardinals are the only one who've gotten all of them so far. Henry saying, I'm exposing myself. Can't think of the 04 to 06. Dang, man. All right. Well, we'll keep thinking. I feel like we definitely know who he is. We just don't have his name. Panthers. Wow. All right. So they've updated this with Dave Canales, I guess. That's a free one right there. And then we will get Frank Reich. I almost blanked on him. He only lasted 11 games with them. We'll also get him for the Colts. Lasted shorter than Urban Meyer with the Jags, which is crazy. Then we'll get Matt Rule. I was so high on Matt Rule after his first year with the Panthers. That was the birth of the famous Panthers 2023 NFC Championship game versus the Baltimore Orioles. Never happened. Ron Rivera. And then John Fox. All right. Panthers, we got all 5. We'll also get John Fox for the Bears. Low-key might have forgot about John Fox on the Bears if I didn't get that. Maybe. I will also get him for the Broncos, too. John Fox. That's a name I haven't thought about in a while. Bears, 2022 to now. Matt Eberflus. And we'll get Matt Nagy. 13-14. Ooh, this is a good one right here. Remember Mark Trestman? He came over from the CFL, or is it Trestman? I know it's him, right? I know it's Mark Trestman. This is just me checking spelling. Yeah, Mark Trestman. It is him. Like, whatever. The dude who made this spelled his name wrong. Not to call him out. Lovey Smith. This is Mark Trestman. We're counting this. I know it's him, right? Like, unless I'm crazy. But he came over from the CFL, or was he just their offensive coordinator? Maybe? No, look at that, head coach, right? Whatever. I swear, it's Mark Trestman. Anyways, Bengals, we'll get Zach Taylor, the potential fraud. Oh boy, this is going to be tough because Marvin Lewis was there for so long. We're going to have to go back. Oh no. Uh-oh. I've not been a fan of football. That's crazy. Like, the Bengals have really only had 2 coaches in the time of me being a football fan. Only 3 coaches in my lifetime. And it's not like I was watching football when I was 2 years old. for as much as we've given the Bengals crap, like, they've had a lot of continuity in their organization. I don't know who these guys are. I'm just going to start naming, like, I know Sam White was a guy. He was a Bengals coach, but it was before this. It was, like, older than that. I don't know. All right, Browns. Kevin Stefanski. Former Vikings coach, offensive coordinator. 2019, Freddie Kitchens. 1-year wonder, as Parachamp says, going to hop out. But good to see you again and glad the stream was working again. Thanks for tuning in, Parachamp. Always good to have you on here, and hope you have a good rest of your night. I'm glad my streams are working again too. Henry says, saw Marvin Lewis is getting hired by Antonio Pierce. Yeah, he was like hanging around with the Raiders. That is kind of crazy. Like, he has like some administrative role with them. Also, we low-key got to hurry up, so we're going to start cooking here. But I did not even know Marvin Lewis was still in the league, to be honest. All right, 16-18, Browns. Hugh Jackson. Legendarily bad coach. And then 2013, I was hoping we'd get to this one. It's nothing other than Rob Chudzinski. 1-year wonder again. He was the Panthers OC with Cam. Complete and utter failure with the Browns. Did not go well. One and done. Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. Still, somehow. 2010 to 2019, Jason Garrett. 2007 to 2010, Wade Phillips. 2003 to 2006, that is Bill Parcells, right? Yep. 2000 to 2002, that one I don't know. It's not Barry Switzer or Jimmy Johnson. It's whoever came after. Unless it is, I don't think it's Barry Switzer because he won a Super Bowl with them in the 90s. I don't know who that is. But I know the two guys before him, of course. All right, Broncos. 2023. Who is the Broncos head coach? Hold on. Sean Payton. I just don't associate him with the Broncos still. 2022. Wait. Yeah. Oh, no. This is bad. Who was the Broncos coach last year? Oh, Nathaniel Hackett. I was like, who was only there for 1 year? Whatever. We're just going to type Hackett. There's no other Hackett. Okay, 2019, 2021, Vic Fangio, who went over to the Eagles. Very surprising that he left Miami. Not good news for the Dolphins, to be quite honest. 2017, 2018. Also, why is there just a gap? Oh, wait, no, 2016. Okay, well, we'll get Gary Kubiak for 15-16. We'll also get him for the Texans. 17-18 Broncos head coach. Who was that? Who was that? Hold on. 17-18. So it would have been my junior and senior year. He only lasted 2 years there. Oh my gosh. I don't know. We'll come back to that. That's crazy. I did not think I would forget about a coach that recent. I'll figure it out. But we get Dan Campbell. Vance Joseph. Thank you, Henry. Yes. You see him now on the screen. And here he is having the time of his life. Thank you, Henry. Let's go, Vance Joseph. Henry with the assist. I don't know that I would have remembered that. But how could you forget Sergio Dip, man? How could you forget Sergio? I hope Sergio Dip is doing well. He handled it pretty well. He can laugh at himself about it. We got Dan Campbell, Matt Patricia. I'm surprised he lasted that long there, to be honest. Jim Caldwell. Jim Schwartz. And then 06 to 08. Oh, who was the quarterback of the... Or, not the quarterback. Who was the coach of the 0-16 team? We'll come back to that. I don't remember. All right, Matt LaFleur. One of the best in the business. One of the best in the business. Mike McCarthy. 2000 to 2005? No idea. We'll get Mike Holmgren for the last one. No idea who these two are, to be honest. I'll have to think about it. Caden, do you know these two? Need some Packers help in here. Oh, if only Parachamp was still in here. Oh. Or if we could get CB in here right now to clutch up. All right. Texans. D'Amico. Great job for him. He's been doing fantastic. Good for him. Here's one that I almost forgot about. I was thinking about him a few weeks ago before the Texans played the Browns. David Culley. Remember him? He only lasted a year there. Then we have Lovie Smith. We also got him for the Bears. 14 to 2020 is Bill O'Brien. And we got the Texans. All right. Shane Steichen, another great coach. Love what he's been doing. Talk about a coordinator, like, he's good and he's gone, right? 2012-2017, that's Chuck Pagano. Awesome story. Did a good job there for a while. Was with Andrew Luck. And then Tony Dungy. All right, we knocked the Colts out of the park pretty easily. Jaguars, we've got Doug Peterson. I don't know. I'm not saying he should be on the hot seat, but this year was pretty bad, right? I was Mr. Jaguars, Mr. Good Place. I don't know why. I don't know. We got to hurry up. We'll rant about Press Taylor some other day. All right. Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer. Oh, shoot. Who was this guy? 13 to 16. Gus Bradley. And then 2012. Oh, Mike Mularkey. All right, we got to hurry up here. Andy Reid. Romeo Crennel. Todd Haley. Mr. Dirty Ball Cap. Angry yelling on the sidelines. Don't know who these two are. Raiders. Josh McDaniels. Antonio Pierce. John Gruden. Woof. 15-17, Jack Del Rio made the playoffs with him. And then Dennis Allen, who is still somehow a coach. Kind of. I don't know. John Harbaugh. We're under 2 minutes now. No, it's Jim, not John. Brandon Staley. Anthony Lynn. Norv Turner and Mike McCoy. Wow, we crushed that. Sean McVay, Jeff Fisher, Steve Spagnuolo. Okay, spelled his name right. Don't know. Dolphins, Mike McDaniel. What? Okay, whatever. Brian Flores. He's staying, thank goodness. 16 to 18. Oh. Adam Gase. We'll also get him for the Jets. 2012-2015, Joe Philbin. And then Tony Sporano. Rest in peace. We'll come back to him. We got to get the Vikings, right? Otherwise, I'm a fraud. Kevin O'Connell. Mike Zimmer. Miss him. Leslie Frazier. Brad Childress. And Mike Tice. These Super Bowl tickets are totally legit. This is Tony Sperano, whatever. Bill Belichick. Gerard Mayo. We're just going to get the obvious ones now. Pete. Oh, no. It's Joe Vitt was their interim head coach when they had Bountygate. Giants. Brian Dable. Joe Judge. Tom Coughlin. We're up against the clock now. Pat Shermer. We're not going to finish them all. That's okay. Robert Saleh. No. Eagles is Sirianni. Man, all right. I was too patient. I took too long. But you know what? That's okay. I'm proud of my performance. I feel like I would have scored a little bit higher. Jim Mora for the Falcons. Okay, so that's who we were missing for Atlanta. Jim Mora. I have no idea who this is. They spelt Mark Trestman wrong. It's Mark with a C. No, I was right. I had no idea that Dick LeBeau was the Bengals head coach, ever. Don't know who that is. I vaguely know his name. I have no idea who Ray Rhodes is. Rod Marinelli. Okay, I've heard that name before. He was more of an assistant head coach, or like a coordinator. Scott Linehan. Mike Martz. Greatest show on turf. Tony Sperano. Spelt his name wrong. Herm Edwards. Really? I suppose. Dick Vermeil. Pete Carroll with the Patriots. Duh. We might have figured that out if we had more time. Jim Haslett, Mike Ditka with the Saints. That's right. Never forget the wild Sports Illustrated cover with him and Ricky Williams. Ben McAdoo. Yeah. Kyle Shanahan, Chip. We didn't even get to these teams, but Henry says decent performance. Thank you. You know, it was, all things considered. Not bad. Forgot about that guy. He's the playoffs guy. He is. Playoffs. Playoffs. I just hope we can win a game. You know what? Better than average by 21%. Not bad. All right. Got a few more here. So we've got every NFL MVP by year. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. They give us the position. We've got 15 minutes. Let's just cook. So last year it was Mahomes. We'll get him for 2 years, actually. And then we got Rodgers for a few years. 2019-2020 was Lamar Jackson. This was Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton. Legendary season, man. Half the reason I'm a Panthers fan. Panthers fan, I say that. 2013-2014, Peyton Manning, record-breaking year. Here we go. Last non-quarterback to ever win MVP. Adrian Peterson, 2,000 yards in 2012, coming off an ACL tear. Kind of ironic. He went for over 2,000 yards, second most rushing yards in a season ever, coming off of an ACL tear. That was like the whole narrative, right? The only award he didn't win was Comeback Player of the Year because Peyton Manning won that one, and they decided to give that to Peyton, but Peterson took the MVP. Yes, sir. Henry says, wait, I just looked it up, and there's 2 different Jim Moras. Oh, maybe Jim Mora Jr. then. Because he's like a college coach now. I know he's at UCLA for a little bit. I don't know what he's up to now, but you're right. There's Jim Mora and Jim Mora Jr. So I think he's the son of the playoffs guy. All right, 06-07 running back, Sean Alexander. No, another running back. Oh, LaDainian Tomlinson. I struggle to spell his name. We'll just do Tomlinson. We know who it is. 03-04, it's not Peyton. Is that Steve McNair? Because that was the year he had co-MVP with Peyton Manning, right? There we go. Rest in peace, Steve McNair. FCS legend, Alcorn State. 2002-2003, is that Rich Gannon? Former Viking. Late career resurgence. All right, we're starting to get deeper in. This isn't Brett Favre, but I'm just going to put him on there. He did have that three-peat. 01-02 QB MVP. Uh-oh. All right, we're starting to get into some trickier waters now. 2000 MVP. Oh, geez. All right, it's starting to get harder. Well, did Barry Sanders? Yeah, he did win MVP. Okay. Running back, 98-99. Quarterback, 2000. Running back. Look at these running backs winning MVP. Did Emmitt Smith ever win any? Yeah, he did. Okay. We're starting to guess a little bit more now, but you know what? That's okay. Oh, geez. Okay, well, this one is Lawrence Taylor. We know that, right? One of only 2 defensive players to ever win MVP. We'll go ahead and get the other 2. The Vikings have the last non-QB to win MVP, and they have the first defensive player to ever win MVP. Alan freaking Page, man. That's a state Supreme Court justice, by the way. Alan Page. Absolute legend. Kurt Warner. Duh. Yeah. He has a few of those. Okay, there we go. So there's the 2 QBs. Kurt Warner leading the greatest show on turf. How about Henry with the assists here today? Coming in clutch. 2000, 2001. So I guess just 2000 MVP running back. Is that Jamal Lewis? He did go for 2,000 yards one year. Nope. Was that the year that Priest Holmes went crazy? Nope. Eddie George, maybe? No, there's no way. Oh, geez. Oh, okay, I know this one. Duh. I should know 98 for sure. I talked about him in my most recent video. It's Terrell Davis. Crazy 3-year run he had with the Broncos and Mike Shanahan. Okay, so we got Terrell Davis. 94, 95. Is that Steve Young? Yeah, we'll get Steve Young for a few of them. 91, 92. We'll get Joe Montana for a few of these. Yep. We'll get Dan Marino for at least one. Yeah. 1984 Dan Marino. Maybe that'll be a video one day. Maybe the greatest season ever. We'll get this one out of the way too. You might not believe your eyes, but yes, that is a K as in kicker, because Mark Mosley won MVP. It was a strike shortened year that year, and they gave the MVP to a kicker. How? I don't know. But it was a strike shortened year, and they gave an MVP to a kicker. Marshall Faulk's not a bad guess because he did have that insane year. Okay. Wow. So the Rams just had 3 straight MVPs. Kurt, Marshall Faulk, and Kurt. This was like one of the greatest fantasy seasons ever. Good call, Marshall Faulk. I was just like, there's no way that 3 straight Rams won it, right? But they did. Look at that. All right. 91-92 running back. And it's not Barry Sanders. It's not Emmitt Smith. It's not Jerome Bettis, right? There's no way. That was a little bit before his time, maybe. Who the heck was it? Who went off in 91 as a running back? No idea. We'll come back to that. All right. Quarterback in 80. We'll get John Elway. Okay. Jim Kelly, maybe? Nope. Will Thurman Thomas pop up? Oh, it is Thurman Thomas. He won MVP? That's insane. I had no idea. I knew he was like good, like Hall of Fame good. I didn't know he had an MVP to his name. Wow. Sometimes I surprise myself. 88-89 quarterback, and it's not Montana or Elway. So who else was it then? All right, so who were the guys in that era? It was Montana, it was Elway, it was Steve Young. It was right before Aikman. We'll put him down, but no, he never won an MVP. And it wasn't Favre. It was right before Favre. No idea. All right, it's starting to get a little bit trickier here. 83-84. Okay, here's one that we're going to get just because I remember this, because this is very random. But 1980 was Brian Sipe. How I remember that, I don't know, but probably just because it was so random. We'll probably get Walter Payton, right? Yep, Walter Payton pops up on here. Will we get Marcus Allen at all? Yeah, there's Marcus Allen up in 85-86. I always get mixed up in what era he played in. He was a little bit later than I thought. How about John Riggins? Nope, they're just throwing out random running backs now. Larry Zonka. Oh, man. Now we're starting to get deeper into the trenches. Maybe Bart Starr. Okay. Okay. Getting somewhere. Roger Staubach. Roger the Dodger. Nope. Tony Dorsett had to have, right? No. Oh. This is getting a little tricky. This is a little bit harder than I thought. Hey, 45 out of 68 ain't bad, but this is a little difficult. Just a wee bit. Quarterbacks in the 70s. 70s quarterbacks. Okay, well, this isn't a quarterback, but definitely O.J. Simpson, right? He went for 2,000 yards. First rusher to ever go for 2,000. I don't think Joe Namath won an MVP. Nope. Did Terry Bradshaw? He must have. Yeah, he got one in the late 70s. Right at the end of that 70s Steelers run. Okay, we're getting somewhere, right? We're just trying to think of old legends of the game. How about Otto Graham? How about my man Johnny Unitas, who I was called the second greatest quarterback ever in the group chat the other day? Look at that, 3 of them. Respect Johnny Unitas. Earl Morrall, right? Yeah, let's go. Earl Morrall on the list. Filled in for Johnny U the year he got hurt. I believe he was the quarterback of Super Bowl III, where the Colts got upset. Yeah. Others, like, oh, man, old QBs. Joe Theismann. Oh, I think he did. Yeah, good call. Look at that, 83-84, right before his injury. I would not have gotten that. I forget that he was like that before his injury. Like, he was good, obviously, but nah, he was kind of that guy. 1988, that one. Oh. QB. Like, I should know who, like, all these people are, right? But 88 is fairly recent, at least. Was that like Randall Cunningham? There's no way. Nope. Okay. That would have been around the time he was on the Eagles. Warren Moon, I think that was a little bit before his time. He was like in the CFL at that point. Ooh, I don't know that one. I truly do not know that one. All right, we're going to keep working. Oh boy, fullback 65, 66. Oh, Jim Brown. Yeah, we're going to get Jim Brown for a few of these. Okay. Okay. 1960 quarterback. Norman Van Brocklin. Oh, wow, I'm a casual. There we go. We'll get a Viking. Fran Tarkenton. The Vikings have had 3 MVPs in their history. Fran, Alan Page, and Adrian Peterson. 79 running back. I'm trying to think of like just all-time leading rushers. Look at that. Henry with the call with Fran Tarkenton. He read my mind. Ain't that something? Do the Falcons have any MVPs besides Matt Ryan? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. UGA legend. You're absolutely right. Go Dogs. All right, this is starting to get tricky. I might call it on this one soon because I've still got 3 more and it's a race against the clock with my battery. I've got 11% left. I don't know why it's not charging. It's just doing like the plugged in thing. Like it's not losing power as fast, I guess. I'm going to try and unplug and plug back in. I don't think it's going to do anything, but I don't know if you can hear, but my computer sounds like a jet engine right now. Yeah, because I'm using significant energy, excuse me. All right, we're going to call it on this one. Oh, these are ones I should have gotten, at least some of these. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea who Burt Jones is. The Snake, I should have gotten. I would not have gotten this. 49ers quarterback, Rams quarterback. I probably wouldn't have guessed them, but I know who they are, at least a little bit. Y.A. Tittle, that's a throwback. Jim Taylor, the Golden Boy, Paul Hornung. Norman Van Brocklin was on here. It was just Norm Van Brocklin. Dang it. Dang it. Oh, man. Boomer Esiason, and then Ken Anderson, the 2 Bengals quarterbacks, and then Earl Campbell. That one I should have gotten. I was thinking of crazy running backs, and I just couldn't. Norm Van Brocklin. Not bad. You know what? For calling it early, we got above average. We'll live with that. All right. We're going to do this one while we still for sure have battery life. This one's a bit shorter. This one really caught my eye, especially with the playoffs going on. Playoff play-by-play commentator since 2010. And as someone that has had roots in play-by-play, this one interests me. We've only got 3 minutes. All right, so Al Michaels writes, NBC, Pat Summerall. Did they have one more year of him? Maybe not. Who is the other NBC guy besides Al? 2010, 2011. Well, we'll get Mike Tirico for sure for the ESPN and NBC. We'll get Joe Buck. We'll get Kevin. Oh, what's his name? What's his last name? He's the A guy now. I literally know him. Kevin Burkhardt. Okay, CBS. We get Jim Nantz alongside Phil Simms and Tony Romo, I guess. Ian Eagle. 2016, was that Brad? I know Brad Nessler did it for a little bit. Nope, not with ESPN though. Sean McDonough. Oh, and the ball is out. Mr. Voice Crack. He was kind of fun though. Joe Tessitore. Who was the other ESPN guy? 2020. Oh, Steve Levy, right? Former SportsCenter anchor. He got a year to do Monday Night Football. Nick and NBC. Noah Eagle? Yeah, okay. He did the Nickelodeon broadcast. Okay, 2022 Fox. So only did it last year. Besides Kevin Burkhardt, who's like Fox's B announcer? Oh, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Low-key did the Vikings game, probably. Probably did the Vikings-Giants game. I just don't. I try to block everything out of that. Some of these older guys I'm struggling with a little bit. Like, are we gonna get like Chris Myers? Oh man, 2012, 2013 NBC, and it's not Al Michaels. Who else did they have? Who was their B guy? Because you only see him like once a year, and I was like 11. Oh man. Okay. CBS 2010 to 2013. This one is hard, actually. This one is pretty hard. 2022 Fox. Besides Kevin Burkhardt, like, who are the other Fox announcers? Oh, Joe Davis. Duh. Okay. He did not do the Vikings game, I don't think. Maybe he did. But he did the Eagles-Giants divisional round game. He's also their baseball A guy. I like Joe Davis a lot. I think he's done a good job. Gus Johnson, did he do any for Fox? Nope. Yikes, we're going to run out of time. We gave this one a good effort, though. 11 out of 16 we'll live with. Tom Hammond. That name only vaguely rings a bell. Greg Gumbel, Kenny Albert. Oh, no way. Are you kidding me? The man of faith? Oh, that's crazy. If you know, you know. Oh my gosh. Thome Brenneman. That's right, he did do football. Wow. The man of faith. I'm speechless. And Dan Hicks. I have no idea who Dan Hicks is. I did not expect to talk about Thome Brenneman tonight, yet here we are. Man. All right. How unfortunate, honestly. I mean, he got what he deserved. Yikes. All right. Here we go. Every 750-yard receiver of the 2010s. We've done 1,000-yard receiver quizzes before. At least I've done it by myself. But I've been inspired after that viral tweet of, "Sorry, babe, can't come over. Me and the boys are naming obscure receivers in the group chat again." We're going to be naming semi-obscure receivers from the 2010s because there's a lower threshold to clear. Only 750 yards instead of 1,000 yards. As Henry's losing his mind over Thome Brenneman. That's a deep drive into left field by Castellanos, and that'll make it a 4-3 ball game. 2020 was not a real year. All right, receivers, let's do this. 49ers tight end. Before George Kittle, there was Vernon Davis. We'll also get Michael Crabtree. Oh, shoot. Well, we'll get Sanu, I guess, for the Falcons and the Bengals. 2017, we'll get George Kittle as well. This is going to be tough because the receivers are going to be a little bit harder to pull. 13 to 15, he was fairly consistent. This was like when the 49ers started to decline with Harbaugh. We'll come back to that. 2019, was that Debo? Yeah, right? Yeah, okay. Bears 2010, was that Johnny Knox? Got folded like a lawn chair. Gruesome injury. We'll get Alshon Jeffrey. There we go. Brandon Marshall. We'll get him for a few teams. Bears, Dolphins, Jets. Would get Broncos, but this is 2010s. Speaking of gruesome injuries, how about Zach Miller for Bears tight end? No, are you serious? Well, I just cheated and put Miller. I'm a fraud. Matt Forte for running back in 2014. So it's more than just receivers, obviously. Anyone that's hit the 750-yard threshold. Is this Cameron Meredith? That's immediately who I think of for 18-19 Bears. Oh, well, we'll get Jordan Cameron probably. Yeah, no, it's 2016, but we'll take it. Cameron Meredith, let's go. Taylor Gabriel. No, we won't get him for the Bears or the Falcons. Remember Taylor Gabriel, Henry? What a legend. Didn't you have a Taylor Gabriel jersey? That's a sick jersey to have, honestly. What a fun relic from the 2016 Falcons. All right, Bengals wide receiver 2010. Well, we'll get AJ Green for years beyond that. Here we go. How about the T-Ocho show? T-Ocho show. Chad Ocho Cinco. No, not 2010. Well, we'll get Terrell Owens, who quietly had a fantastic final season with the Bengals. He was on my fantasy team that year. Oh, this is Allen Robinson. So we'll get Allen for something. I forget he played for the Bears. He was quite good for them, too. Bears tight end 2013-2014. It's not Zach Miller. I know who it is. He was pretty good. I just can't think of him right now. Turbo, that's right. Yeah. Shout out Taylor Gabriel. Bengals receiver 2015. Also get 2016. We'll get Tyler Boyd for later. Did TJ Hushmanzada? No, I don't think he was with the Bengals at that. Hushmanzada. I always struggle to spell his name. Hushmanzada. No, we don't get him for anyone. Tough. All right. 15, 16. We're going to get the obvious ones first and then come back. This one we might have our work cut out for a little bit. We'll get Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace. Man, that was sad. I remember where I was when I learned about that. Demaryius Thomas. Eric Decker. Julius Thomas. Just get that cracked Broncos core. 2013, they had another one. It was Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Julius Thomas, and Wes Welker. Okay, we'll get him for the Patriots too. Emmanuel Sanders. I don't know why I just skipped the Bills. We'll come back to them, I guess. Diggs was not on the Bills on 2019. Okay, so we'll get Stevie Johnson. The one guy that could beat Darrelle Revis, incredibly. Go look up Stevie Johnson's stats against Darrelle Revis. That's actually kind of crazy. For some reason, he couldn't stop him. 14-15, that's going to be Bobby Trees, right? No! Sammy Watkins. There we go. Okay. And then two of them in 2019. Who in 2019? This was the year before Josh Allen got good. Shoot. Broncos 2010. There's two of them. Eddie Royal's got to be one of them, right? No! Oh, Brandon Lloyd. Led the league in receiving yards. Also had him on my fantasy team. That's a fun one. And then who is the other guy? It's not Demaryius. It's not Eric Decker. It's not Brandon Stokely, is it? Nope. Don't know. These ones are going to probably bug me. We'll just come back to it. These Bengals ones are being tough. We gotta make some progress, though. We've already got 5 minutes gone. The battery is running out. We're racing against the clock and time and all that good stuff. 2019, Cortland Sutton. Had a nice bounce back year this year, to his credit. 2010 Browns tight end. Uh-oh. Those Tyrod Taylor teams. I know, right? Like, good times. You know, he was not bad for them. He was all right. He was, obviously, they needed to move on and get Josh, and that worked out. But he was all right. They were some fun teams, and it was a cool story when they made the playoffs. Browns tight ends, I don't know. We'll get Josh Gordon. Man, what could have been. 2014 Browns. Why do I want to say this is Travis Benjamin? Oh, no, but he's 2015. I did not think he was actually going to be on here. That's crazy. This is going to sound so weird. I've seen his pants got pulled down during a game once. It was against the Vikings. 2013. I think it was week 3. And on a punt return, his pants got pulled down. And he essentially mooned the entire country. True story. 2016 Browns. Oh, Andrew Hawkins, right? No, 2014. Okay, so a few years before. They had a run of those random receivers, though. And then they had Odell and Jarvis Landry. 2016, I don't know. This one's going to be Mike Williams. The other Mike Williams. There's a few Mike Williams, actually, because we got that one. He was a beast. Rookie out of Syracuse in 2010. I think he was Rookie of the Year that year. And that their head coach, to come full circle, was Raheem Morris. Bucks tight end in 2011. Oh, boy. Don't know. We'll probably know when his name pops up, but don't know right now. Another guy that sadly has passed away, Vincent Jackson. Vincent Jackson. Him and Mike Evans were a filthy duo for a while. So much size and speed. Deshaun Jackson, right? We'll also get Chris Godwin. Yeah, Deshaun Jackson played with the Bucks. The Ryan Fitzpatrick here. Fitzmagic. That was a fun team. 2018 wide receiver that's not Deshaun Jackson. They had 3 that year. I mean, they just chucked the ball down the field. And I don't know off the top of my head. All right, Cardinals, that's going to be Larry, right? Larry Legend. 2012, Michael Floyd, right? No, 2013 to 15. He had a good career. Now he's a realtor in Rochester, Minnesota. True story. He's from Minnesota. And he played with the Vikings for a little bit. It's a good story. He seems to have turned his life around a little bit. So, good for him. 2015 and 2012. Man, if only this was 2008, we could get Stevie Breston. But we can't. 2016 is David Johnson for running back. We know that. 2015, John Brown, rookie year. Boom. Oh, and we'll get John Brown for the Bills, too. Look at that. 2012. I have no idea. We'll come back. Okay, Chargers, Antonio Gates. That one's pretty straightforward. Antonio? Yeah, good thing I could just type Gates. Antonio. We might as well get Antonio Brown right now, too, while we're thinking about it. Oh, man. Talk about what could have been. I mean, he had a great career as is, but he really could have been one of the best to ever do it, man. But he just had to be crazy. 2011, 2012, 2014. Well, it's not Keenan Allen, but we might as well get him. Okay, I'm sorry. Is Keenan Allen just not on here? No, we already got him because we typed Allen. Okay. I don't know where he is, though. There he is. 11, 12, and 14. Is that Malcolm Floyd? Has to be, right? I don't think he's related to Michael Floyd. Maybe he is, but they were both big receivers. Chargers running back 2015. That's not Darren Sproles, is it? He was gone, but no, it was not Darren Sproles. Not Ryan Matthews. Was it Brandon Oliver? Nope. Danny Woodhead? Yes, it's Danny Woodhead. Let's go. Chargers receiver 2016. Is that Tyrell Williams? Never forget. Wow. We're on a roll right now. All right, now we're locked in. I'm not going to get this other one, though. Tyrell Williams was my trump card. And then Austin Eckler in 2019. We'll also get Miles Austin. All right, Chiefs. Dwayne Bowe. Randomly just had this insane stretch in 2010. Go look up Dwayne Bowe 2010 stats if you want to fall down a rabbit hole. Unreal random year with Matt Castle at quarterback. 2011 Chiefs receiver. They were bad that year. Who was their number one? I don't know, but we'll get Jeremy Maclin because he came over later. We'll get Travis Kelce. And we'll get Tyreek Hill. Straightforward. All right, we're under 9 minutes. Let's get cooking. Reggie Wayne. Good with Peyton, then had a nice bounce back with Luck. I think he's coaching now somewhere, actually. Maybe I'm making that up. Austin Collie? No, he had been concussed out of the league at that point. Anthony Gonzalez? No, because he was not on those teams. Oh, it's just 2010, 2011. And then, T.Y. Hilton. Okay. Donnie Avery? Oh, it's Donnie Avery. Wow. Jack Doyle? Nope. Eric Ebron will get for 2018. Kobe Fleener, Luck's teammate from Stanford. We're kind of locked in right now. Commanders 2010, is that Santana Moss? Yeah, all right. Santana Moss. He played for a while. First round pick for the Jets out of Miami. Another commies receiver and a tight end. Tight end is going to be Chris Cooley. Remember those pick me NFL commercials where he like it was like for fantasy and like players would like do some cool challenge and be like pick me. Chris Cooley like put his hands through like a wall to catch a ball. I didn't explain it very well, but it was cool. And then they had a different tight end in 2011. Okay, well this is going to be Jordan Reed in 2015. Man, if he could have stayed healthy, concussions really got him. Jamison Crowder. Might have spelled his name wrong. Crowder. Yep. Scary Terry. McLaurin. 13 to 16. Pierre Garcon. One of my favorite random stats in NFL history. Pierre Garcon led the NFL in catches in 2013. True story. He led the NFL in catches. That was a Final Jeopardy once for one of the sports Jeopardies I made. One of my all-time favorite random facts. It's so random. Like, he had a good career, but you'd never think that he led the NFL in catches. But here we are. All right, Dez Bryant. We gotta hurry up here. Dez Bryant. We already got Miles Austin. Roy Williams. No, not by then. Terrence Williams though we'll get. Wow. Yeah, he was good for a while. And then Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper with Jason Witten, right? Yep. 2011. If it wasn't Dez and it wasn't Roy Williams and it wasn't Miles Austin, who was it? Who was Romo throwing to? No idea. 2016 when they were really good. Besides Dez, who was their number 2 option? And then 2019. They had Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. No, it was not CD. He was a rookie in 2020. Man, all right, Dolphins. Let's move on to the Dolphins. Ted Ginn. No, we'll get him for the Panthers and the Saints. He sold Cam Newton so much. Dolphins tight end. Well, we'll get Brian Hartline, the GOAT wide receiver coach. Devon Bess? There's no way it's Devon Bess. Let's go. Devon Bess, baby. Speedster. Uh-oh. All right. Well, we'll come back. We'll get some of these other guys. 2019, Devontae Parker. Had 1 year where he just randomly went nuclear with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Overall, pretty disappointing for a first-round pick, but solid year. All right, Brent Selleck, Eagles tight end. Gabe says, I've been exercising out this entire time. This is so good. Deacon Bessif. Thank you. I appreciate it. Glad that I can provide some entertainment for you guys on this nice Thursday night. Jordan Matthews has got to be on here, right? Eagles 2013, not Jordan Matthews. We'll come back to that. Zach Ertz, ring chasing with the Lions. Who would have thought that's a phrase that we could say, right? But it's true. Not Alshon Jeffrey. Torrey Smith. If not, we'll get him for the Ravens. All right, we got to really start cooking. Falcons, let's knock these out. Roddy White. Harry Douglas. We do know he got 1,000 yards 1 year. We also saw him at the Notre Dame game. Tony Gonzalez. Falcons wide receiver. Julio. Calvin Ridley. And Sanu. No. Tight end. Austin Hooper. Boom. That one was easy. Hakeem Nicks. The other Steve Smith. We'll also get both Steve Smiths. No. What? No. That was 2009 maybe. Dang it. Okay. 2010. Also 2011 we'll get Victor Cruz. That started his crazy run. 14, 15. Is that Ruben Randall? There's no way. Ruben Randall. LSU. Oh, wow. And then 2018. No idea. Okay, how about Mike Sims Walker for the Jaguars? Mike Sims Walker. How about Mike Thomas? Yes. Okay. Cecil Shorts. Yes. Cecil Shorts. Justin Blackman. What could have been? So good his rookie year. Such a shame. Alan Hearns. Yep. 2016. We'll come back. DJ Chark. Great year with Gardner Minshew. 2019, other guy. Woof. Don't know. Jets, 2010. Is that Jericho Cotchery? Jeremy Curley. Oh, we got Jeremy Curley. All right. Dustin Keller, tight end. Wow. All right. We're moving. 17 to 19 Jets wide receiver. Who had a good run with them for a while? Who was their guy? Who did Darnold like? Robbie Anderson. That's who it is. Okay, I swear. If it was going to make me put Chosen Anderson. Sterling Shepard. Thank you, Henry. How could I forget about him, right? The reason I gamble. Shepard. There we go. We finally got it. His name is always tough for me to spell. Lions. Let's get Calvin Johnson. Let's get Andre Johnson while we're at it. Let's get Titus Young, maybe. No! What about Austin Pettis? No! What about Brandon Pettigrew? I don't think I see him on there. We're just oh, Brandon Pettigrew. He was not a wide receiver. He was a tight end. All right. Lions 2011. It wasn't Austin. Are you sure it wasn't Titus Young? No, he was pretty good before he went crazy. Been saying that about a lot of guys. Golden Tate. We'll get him for the Seahawks too. Kenny G. Okay. Marvin Jones. Get him for a few different teams. Packers. Jordy Nelson. Greg Jennings. Donald Driver had retired by then. Tight end 2011. Jermichael Finley. Wow. He had a solid career. Randall Cobb. James Jones. We're cooking. We've got less than a minute left. All right. 16 to 19. Devontae. We're just going to name guys. All right, we're going to get the Vikings. We have to get the Vikings. Adam Thielen. Percy Harvin. Stephon Diggs. Oh, not that many. Kyle Rudolph. That was easy. All right, we've only got a few seconds left. All right, Kenny Britt. We're just going to name guys. Titans tight end. Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell. Martavis Bryant. Oh, we got Martavis Bryant. Hines Ward. Heath Miller. No, we ran out of time again. Oh, that was a good run though. Mike Wallace. I just ran out of time again. Maybe I dilly-dally too much. We could have gotten Stevie Breston. He got the 750 with the Chiefs. Dontrell Inman. That was the Chargers wide receiver. Forgot about him. Andre Roberts. Adam Humphries for the Bucks. Kellen Winslow Jr. A terrible human being. Nothing like his father. Gary Barnage. Terrell Pryor. Ben Watson. Jabbar Gaffney. Cole Beasley. Brandon LaFell. Chad Johnson. Oh, boo. Should have gave me credit for both. You know what I meant, game. Jimmy Graham. I should have gotten Jimmy Graham and like Greg Olsen. Not to mention Gronk, there's a lot of tight ends I could have gotten. But Marquise Goodwin. Fred Davis. That's legitimately a name I've not thought about in years. Fred Davis. Charles Clay. Oh, let's go. Charles Clay. Woof. Riley Cooper. Rutrow. Nelson Aguilar. Oh, I should have got that. Mario Manningham. Marquise Lee. Chris Conley, who, by the way, was playing in the playoffs last week. Chris Conley. I can't remember who it was, but I was watching the game. It's the 49ers. Chris Conley caught a pass, and I saw Conley and immediately thought of Chris Conley, but I was like, there's just no way Chris Conley is on a team right now. And sure enough, the announcer said Chris Conley, and I was like, there's no way he's still in the league. But he is. And you know what? Good for him. He's in the playoffs right now. Good for Chris Conley. Go Dogs. Also made a Star Wars short film. True story. It was actually pretty good. It was well made. Good production from Chris Conley, Star Wars filmmaker. My computer's starting to lag, which has me... You know what? We've got 6% battery left. We can knock this last one out. We're going to bang out one more before we call it a night here. Thank you to everyone that's been tuning in. We've still got 3 people in here. It's been a long stream. We've just been chilling, talking coaching a little bit. Hopefully it's not too laggy on your end. I see it lagging on my computer, but I wonder if that's just because my battery is low. Henry says, reason we lost the 2012 SEC championship. Was he the guy that we threw it to at the end where he got tackled short, or was he just kind of like selling in general? Like, was he like dropping or something? I did not watch that game, believe it or not. But I know the story. I know some of the lore behind it. I did not know that he's the reason, though. Well, anyways, I still love Chris Conley. And you know what? I'm glad he's still in the playoffs. All right. Let's knock this last one out. Yearly team passing leaders since 2010. Should be pretty easy. We've got 25 minutes. I wish I had 25 minutes for the last one, because I feel like we're going to have a lot of repeats here. But let's do this, and then we're going to call it a night. But it's been good to stream again. All right. Starting with the Cardinals, we've got Kyler Murray, Josh Rosen. This is very laggy on my end, but you know what? We're going to power through because we have to. Carson Palmer, 2014. Was that Drew Stanton? Oh, it was. How about John Skelton? Nope. Kevin Cobb. And then Matt Leinart, right? No. Derek Anderson. Who was after Kurt Warner? It was Derek Anderson. Let's go. All right. Matt Ryan. Boom. Easy. Joe Flacco. And Lamar Jackson. This one should be pretty easy, I would say. Josh Allen. Tyrod Taylor. Trent Edwards. No. Okay. We'll get E.J. Manuel, though. Woof. Kyle Orton in 2014, right? Yeah, he was their starter. He took the job from E.J. Manuel. And then... who did they have? It wasn't Trent Edwards then. Who was the other QB they had? Ryan Fitzpatrick. Duh. Okay. We'll get Cam Newton. Kyle Allen, right? Yep. And then 2010, good Lord, was it Jimmy Clausen? It was Jimmy Clausen. Oh, no. If you want to see just an absolutely hilarious picture, I don't know what it is about this picture that makes me laugh, but look up Jimmy Clausen. I think it's like, I don't know if you could look up like Jimmy Clausen, like high school rings or something, but he just looks so smug. He has his high school rings out. This is when he was at Notre Dame. He just got this smirk on his face like, yeah, kiss the rings. I don't know what's so funny about it, but I just find it so funny. Jimmy Clausen. Thank goodness for Cam Newton. Cam saved the Panthers. Bears. All right. Trubisky. Cutler. And the one guy in between. It wasn't Josh McCown. He was gone by then. We'll get McCown for the Browns, though. As Henry says, nope, he fell inbounds. Oh, sad, man. You know what? We've got our 2 natties now, though. We finally exercised our demons a little bit. 2016 Bears. Oh, geez. It wasn't Trubisky. It wasn't Cutler. We'll come back to that. First one we've had trouble with. All right. Andy Dalton. Easy. Wow. Browns. All right, so Baker Mayfield. Baker May, you know the vibes. There's no way Johnny Manziel is on here. He didn't play enough. Seneca Wallace make here? No. Jake Delhomme, maybe? I would have guessed Derek Anderson for the Browns. Brady Quinn? Nope. Well, we'll get Tom Brady down below. DeShone Kizer. Yeah. Okay, 2017. Winless DeShone Kizer. 2016. Yikes. Jason Campbell's going to be on there, right? Yep. 2013. 2014 is going to be Brian Hoyer. Yep. 2012, Brandon Whedon. They drafted a 28 overall rookie, as Henry shouts out to Sean Kaiser, Notre Dame legend. 2011 and 2010, Browns quarterbacks. This year was the Peyton Hillis year. This year, I don't know. We'll come back. Cowboys. This is going to be easy. It's Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. Oh, I guess there's the years they got injured. Oh, who filled in for Romo the year he got hurt? He was terrible. It wasn't Mark Sanchez, was it? He did play for the Cowboys for a little bit. Who was it? John Kitna was 2010 when Romo got hurt. Oh, Romo was so injured in 2015, and then people finally started to respect Romo. And then Dak Prescott stole his job when he got hurt again. Who was it? Don't know. Broncos. I always forget Joe Flacco played for the Broncos. Kind of crazy. Case Keenum. Yup. Also get him for the Vikings, obviously. Thank you, Case, every single day for one of the greatest days of my life. Other Broncos quarterbacks. We've got Trevor Siemian. I spelt his name right on the second try. We'll take that. And then we got Peyton. Oh, and then Tim Tebow. Oh, what a fun run that was. Matt Castle. No way. It totally was. Henry's on fire tonight. I would not have guessed Matt Castle for the Cowboys. I would have gotten bailed out putting him for the Chiefs. That's crazy. Let's go. Matt Castle. All right. Got to be Stafford for all the Lions years, right? 2010. Was that Dante Culpepper? No, he was retired by then. Oh, who was it? Oh, I can see his face. Kind of. No, I can't. It's not Orlovsky. It's because Stafford was hurt this year. Oh, I don't know. We'll come back. All right, Aaron Rodgers. 2017, Brett Hundley. Yeah. We'll get the Predator. We'll get Matt Schaub. And then we'll get Tom Savage. Nope. Dang it. I was really hoping we'd get to do Tom Savage. It's Brock Osweiler. I was really hoping we were going to be able to put Tom Savage there. Colts, Andrew Luck. What could have been? Jake Brisket. And 2011 has got to be Curtis Painter, right? Yep, Curtis Painter. The suck for luck year. All right. Jason Mendoza's favorite player, Blake Bortles. If you know, you know. Gardner Minshew. David Garrard. Blaine Gabbert. Oh, geez. And then Chad Henne. Okay. I'll also get him for the Dolphins. Nice. Mahomes and Alex Smith. Nice little run there for the Chiefs, gotta say. Kind of crazy. Good for them. Phillip Rivers. Never got hurt. Look at that. Model of consistency. Big, tall, can see over the line. Big Phil. Ravens and Bengals legend. If you know, you know. Goff, right? Case Keenum. Wow, we'll get Sam Bradford. And then the 2 years in between. Sean Hill? No. We'll get him for someone. Was it the Lions? Was that Sean Hill? Yeah, let's go. Sean Hill. Been around the block a little bit. 14 and 15 Rams. It's not Nick Foles. It is Nick Foles for one of the years. And then the other one, is it like Austin Davis? It is Austin Davis. Impossible. Austin Davis out of nowhere. All right, Dolphins. Let's lock in. We're doing well on time. You know what? We're going to go for like a 97% on this. We're going to go absolutely stupid. We'll get Ryan Tannehill. 2011. Matt Moore. Boom. Easy money. Easy money. Vikings. Kirk. Before Kirk. 2015. Teddy Bridgewater. Oh. Was devastated when I found out he got hurt. I was in math class going to the bathroom when I got the notification on my phone. I was not the same the rest of the day. I was a changed man. I became a grown man. We'll get Brett Favre, 2011 and 2012, Christian Ponder. Woof. Let's not draft another Ponder when it's time to get a new QB. Saints, Drew Brees. Easy. Giants, Eli Manning. Easy. And then 2019, Daniel Jones. Jets, 2019, Sam Darnold. And 2018, easy enough. Raiders, Derek Carr. 2013, ooh. Okay, here's where it gets a little tricky. 2013 Raiders. Didn't even throw for 2,000 yards. Don't know this one off the top of my head because I don't think it was a rookie. I do not think it was a rookie. We'll come back to that. Eagles 2019. Oh, Carson Wentz. We'll get him for a lot of years. For whatever reason, I think that he stopped playing before 2019. He actually played for them in 2022. Jalen Hurts didn't really take over till 21. Well, I guess he played some in 2020, but 2012 Eagles. Oh, Vic. Yeah. All right, Steelers, we got Big Ben. Oh, and then we'll get Duck Hodges, right? Or Mason Rudolph. Ah, I wish it was Duck Hodges. Remember him? What a great nickname. Duck Hodges. All right. 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo. Nick Mullins. I'm sorry, Nick. You did your best. I respect you. You tried your hardest. 2016 49ers. I mean, this was like the trenches. We'll get Colin Kaepernick before that. Oh, it was 2016 too. Okay, I stand corrected. I thought he was blackballed by then. I did not think he played in 2016. I am wrong. All right, Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, and then Matt Hasselbeck, right? Oh, who's 2011? Between Russell Wilson and Matt Hasselbeck. It wasn't Matt Flynn because they signed Matt Flynn to be the guy and then they just gave the job to Russell Wilson instead. Who was it? I don't know. We'll come back. 2019. See, this is what I mean when I say there was an era of football where like stats are nice, but like if you say like, oh, player X passed Fran Tarkenton on the all-time passing leaderboard, that doesn't mean as much to me because Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards. Now, I will say, and this might be another topic I explore, either in my next video or one after that, but we've kind of seen stats go down a little bit again. That's because defense is fighting back. Defense is taking the sport back. That's right. The NFL isn't worse. Defense is just better. Welcome back to old school football. It's here and it's cool again. Bucks 2013, Mike Glennon. Oh, we're going to get Mike Glennon for another team. I know it, right? Maybe the Bears or something? No? Oh, he bounced around for a little bit. Josh Freeman for the Bucks, right? Yeah. Vikings legend Josh Freeman. Henry says the famous 30 touchdown, 30 interception season. Oh, yeah, right? I mean, he played the game like Madden, you know? Just chucking the ball around the yard. And it was fun to watch, but man, it was not effective. And then they got Tom and won the Super Bowl. Tennessee Titans. All right. I don't think he's going to be on here, but I really just want to say Jake Locker's name. Yes! Jake Locker! University of Washington bust. 8th overall pick. The ultimate toolsy quarterback. You know what's funny? People like Jake Locker was a famous bust and he was toolsy and he never panned out. He would 110% go that high, if not higher today. I just feel like teams would have a better idea of how to develop him now. Jake Locker came into the league 10 years too early, in my opinion. I stand with Jake Locker. All right. The middle ground of the Titans. Yikes. They were like so... Well, I guess they had Marcus Mariota. Never mind. Okay. 2014, though. Was that Charlie Whitehurst? Please. No! You sure? No. 2014 then. Who was it? If it wasn't Charlie Whitehurst, it wasn't Fitzmagic. Pre-Mariota. Oh, I don't know. And then 2010 would have been Vince Young, maybe? No. Kerry Collins? Was he on the team? He was still on the team. Kerry Collins. Fun fact, Kerry Collins was once the quarterback of a 13-3 number 1 seed in the NFL Titans. Go look up the 2008 Titans. That will show you how much the game has changed. That team was the 1 seed. The Titans are the kings of the random 1 seed because they were also the 1 seed in 2021. And they went one and done in both those instances. All right, Washington. We'll get RG3. This is not Jason Campbell. Then who is it? Is it Rex Grossman? Please. Okay, Rex Grossman 2011. 2010, Donovan McNabb. Oh, all right, we're so close. We are 7 away from 100%. We can do this. All right. We've still got 10 minutes. We're going to finish this before the 10 minutes are up. All right, Seahawks 2011. Come on, let's walk through. So it's not Matt Flynn. I mean, we're just going to type it. He didn't even start a game, though. They signed him after the crazy game he had against the Lions when the Packers were sitting their starters. It's not Matt Flynn. It's before Russell Wilson, after Matt Hasselbeck. There was 1 year in between them. Oh, who was it? Hold on. I don't know. This would have been, what, the first or second year with Pete Carroll, I think? And they were actually, like, solid. Didn't they, like, go 7-9 that year? They had Marshawn Lynch, who had that crazy run of, like, 11 straight games with a rushing touchdown or something like that. Who was the quarterback, though? I don't know. Raiders 2013. I mean, is it like Bruce Gradkowski for the Raiders? There's no way. Nope. Yikes. Pre-Derek Carr. Kyle Buller? No. We're just guessing names. Bears 2016, and it's not Mike Glennon. Oh, I was hoping that would save us. No, because they signed Mike Glennon before drafting Trubisky. Bears 2016 quarterback. They beat the Vikings that year on Monday Night Football. The Monday Night Nightmare on Halloween. I still think about that game. Jordan Howard went absolutely crazy in that game, but I don't remember the quarterback. It was not Cutler, and it was before Trubisky. Oh, man, why is this hard? And then there's 3 for the Browns that I just don't know. And I'm trying to think of that jersey. That Browns jersey with all the different names on it, right? Where it's like a Tim Couch jersey, and then they crossed it out, and they put the next quarterback, and the next, and the next, and the next. And it's not Seneca. I want to keep saying Seneca Wallace. Part of it is because I just want to flex that I know who Seneca Wallace is. But also just like... because he got some serious time with the Browns. Was it Johnny Manziel in 2016? No. And then 2011 and 2010. 2011 is decent for Brown standards. Oh, Colt McCoy, right? I literally have a Colt McCoy Browns jersey. We're 5 away, folks. We're 5 away. Bears 2016, Browns 2016. I will say, I'm not surprised that 2016 is a year that I'm kind of struggling with for these more obscure ones. This is going to sound interesting. 2016 was probably my biggest year away from football. Don't get me wrong. I still intently followed the NFL. I watched every Vikings game. But that was also like my peak soccer phase. So I was keeping up with European soccer almost just as much as the NFL. And there's like some slight gaps in my 2016 knowledge. I would say that 2016 is one of my weaker recent years. I will say. Also, the Vikings started 5-0 and then finished 8-8 that year. So I was like, ugh. Like, by the end of it, I was so upset at the Vikings. Oh, that was a weird year. The Bears and the Browns in 2016. Okay, the Browns. Like who was it? Oh, I have no idea. I might give up soon. We're so close. I'm going to try and work through this a little bit more, but I don't think I'm going to get any of these. The Raiders in 2013, that one is truly puzzling. Like, I'm trying to think of like the Madden rosters now. So 2013, that would have been Madden 25, and I just truly have no clue who the Raiders quarterback was then, if it wasn't Derek Carr or Carson Palmer. Like it wasn't Terrell Pryor. Oh, it definitely was Terrell Pryor. Yes. All right, we're 4 away. Terrell Pryor. Wow. Okay. Seahawks 2011. He threw for 3,000 yards. It's not like he was a complete disaster. Like, I might be forgiven for not getting the Titans throwing for 1,400 yards with their top quarterback. Like, clearly there was like a rotation or whatever. Have I guessed Josh McCown? I did, and I got him for the Jets, and I tried to get some for the Bears. What about Luke McCown? There's no way. Okay, no. But I don't hate the McCown guess. McCown snuck in when I was on the Bears, and I don't think I got him for the Bears, but I got him for some other teams. But that would have been a good one for the Browns, too. I mean, the Browns QB situation was just so dire. I mean, they won one game that year, right? They beat the Chargers on Christmas Eve, and that's what saved them from going 0-16. And then they proceeded to go 0-16 the next year. And somehow Hugh Jackson kept his job a few games into 2018. Somehow. Goodness gracious. Come on, doctor. I really don't know. I'm about to take the L. I mean, I'm not going to complain about 316 out of 320. All right, we're going to do it. It was a good run. We got a 99%, 10 better than average. Matt Barkley and Cody Kessler. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know that Matt Barkley played for the Bears, to be quite honest. I honestly did not know that was a thing. I've always associated with him with the Bills and the Eagles. Yeah, he's drafted by Philly. He played 1 year with Chicago. He's in the league now. He's on the Jags. Matt Barkley. Oh, remember when he was supposed to be like the greatest college QB ever? Matt Barkley, Cody Kessler. I don't know that I would have come up with that. I do remember Cody Kessler, Stanford quarterback. I don't know that I would have thought of that, though. Okay, who's this Seahawks guy? It's going to kill me. Tavares Jackson. No, he's a former Viking. And I couldn't get him. No. T-Jack. May he rest in peace, too. Oh, that was sad. That was a few years ago now. He passed away. Oh, I'm sorry, T-Jack. I failed you. Oh. Lefty quarterback. The ultimate coin toss winner. He was their secret weapon. They had this insane streak of winning coin tosses in overtime with Tavares Jackson or something like that. Oh. And then Zach Mettenberger for the Titans. That's crazy. I would not have come up with that. I remember Zach Mettenberger very well. Played for LSU when I was an LSU fan. Would not have guessed him for 2014, though. Wow. All right. That was pretty good, though. That was pretty good. I can't complain about that. My computer is legitimately about to die. Yeah, he did go to Oconee. That's right. He was a local kid from Athens. He started off at UGA, didn't he? Hold on. We're going to look that up real quick. Because now that really means something to me. I've been to Oconee High School many, many times. Oconee County, right? That's crazy. Yeah, there he is. I guess that's a different uniform. The AAF, remember that? The American Alliance of Football? Oconee County High School. Man, oh, I kind of miss going to Oconee County for work. That was fun. Home of the Warriors, out in Watkinsville. Shout out the Oconee Enterprise. Wow. They've had two guys go to the league. They had Tony Taylor, too. Don't know who that is, to be honest. But yeah, Zach Mettenberger. Look at that. Oconee County High School. Sending some guys to the league. Good call, Henry. You know what, Henry? Henry is the stream's MVP, honestly. He was on fire with some of his quiz calls. We got to talk some takes today, talk some Falcons, and a nice little shout out there to Oconee County High School at the end. That's all I've got for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was a blast. It's been so long since I've done one of these. So long since I've done a proper stream. This is actually the first stream of the year, believe it or not, as in 2024. You know, I'd been all over the place. I went to Mexico. Well, first I went back to Georgia for a little bit for New Year's. Got to celebrate New Year's, see Christine and her family, catch up with some friends. Then I went to Mexico, had an awesome time there for a week. Did end up getting sick and nearly tore my ACL, but that's a story for another day. Actually, no. I'll just say that. Well, no, we're wrapping up, but that's a story for another day. But yes, I nearly tore my ACL in Mexico and got sick, but it was a lot of fun. I had a great time there. Then I came back to Georgia, had an epic drive from Georgia to Fargo, and now we're here and we're back. And you know what? We're going to be back again on Sunday. It's Championship Sunday, and you best believe we're going live. The internet is back, and so is Dr. Pigskin. Thank you for tuning in, Henry. It was good to hang out, man. Good to talk with you again. Hope to see you again soon. Shout out Raheem Morris. I see the vision with the Falcons. We'll see if it happens or not. But until next time, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm beaming with a massive smile on my face because tonight I had fun and got to do what I love. And I got to do it with the people I love. I love you guys. Y'all have a good night. Peace. The doctor's out.